sheet. Let's pop out of here and let's see if the players are ready for the Civ draft. Here we go. Civ draft between Chort and Motionless Heart is on us live, and we can jump into this. Chort's very generously asking me for when we can start. So we will see. It isn't going to be KOTD, but it's KOTD round 1 rules, and it will be 5 civs for both players, no bans, no mirror matches today. It's just going to be a lot of fun, and I think that Chort will either go, well, he wants to go Celts and Slavs very early. He told me those are his 2 very best civs, and you'll hear that in his interview. He said he doesn't care that much about Burmese. He doesn't care that much about Berbers. I think he was saying that he wants to go Celts and Slavs. Those are his bread and butter civs. So it will be Burmese and Aztecs for Motionless Heart. That's the default name that was given today for Pete Martell. So Pete will have Burmese and Aztecs already, and we will see Celts and Slavs right away from Chort. No huge surprise there. As you guys might have seen in the early overlay, he's played about, out of his last 150 games, it's been about 45 Celts and 45 Slavs. So Chort really likes those 2 civs. He said he wanted to go Magyars as well in his interview, and he has gone Magyars here. And we'll see what he goes for next, but it will be the Motionless Heart. It will be his turn. Mr. Pete Martell. So far, he's gone with powerful civs, I would say. I think Aztecs is drafted a bit early for my taste, but hey, man, you got to play to your strengths. We do expect Pete Martell to be the aggressor in these games. He's a guy who is kind of known for his high-level aggression. So he'll do well maybe to do some early aggression with Aztecs. We used to see that 5 Militia Drush. We may not see that, but we could. Ethiopians are a great early men-at-arms civ. They're hard to absorb that early push. We've seen Burmese as a pretty nasty towering civ, followed up with a castle and Arambai. Really interesting to see Vietnamese from Chort. Oh boy. Okay. Not sure what he's... Vietnamese is not a civ I would choose in the top 15 or so in the new expansions, but okay. Vietnamese for Chort, very, very interesting setup already. And let's see what he goes for on his last pick. Vietnamese indeed. Vikings, okay. I think Vikings is probably about the 9th best civ for Arabia, but there's some good ones left on the board. I mean, Berbers are still left. That's a pretty powerful civ. Indians are left. Huns are left. Very interesting picks from Chort. I think that so far I would rather have the civs of Pete Martell as he grabs the Malay and ends the draft. But we will see how this game goes down in just a moment. I do want to take a second here to update my little civ list and tell the players to just give us a moment. Just want to update a little bit of the, I've got a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a better presentation, but a little different presentation for you guys here. So I just want to see if we can update that properly and give you some X's over what the players have used and what they haven't used. Always trying to make the game a little bit more interactive and fun. So I'm trying out a new idea. We'll see if it works. Just going to quickly update Pete Martell's civs, and I'll be able to jump in here in a moment. Sorry, I'm neglecting the chat just for a second here while I get all of this in order. Trying to give you guys a good presentation. I think it's going to be a fun set of games, and it's really cool actually to see that Chort went for some civs that I wasn't quite ready for, especially the Vietnamese. Very surprised that he picked them. It wasn't even his last pick. But very surprised that they are on the game now. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like for today. We've got Pete Martell. He's playing for some new headphones, which he does definitely need. I can vouch for that. Pete is going to be looking for this headset, which is a pretty nice one. He's going to be playing as the Burmese, Aztecs, Ethiopians, Malians, and Malay. And on the other side, Chort will have Celts, Slavs, Magyars, Vietnamese, and Vikings. And as we go along, we will X out the civs that are left over, or rather that have been used. Okay, well, you know, I'm pretty much ready. You guys, I hope, are pretty much ready. Just one last run through here. We did see Celts and Slavs from Chort. Not surprised at all there. Those are the civs that he's playing a lot. 44 and 37 times out of the last 122 games. Pete Martell, some of his best civs are Burmese. He does play well with Celts, but we aren't seeing him with Spanish, Byzantine, or Chinese. We're going to see him with better civs, realistically, if you're talking about a 1v1. The one that I question a bit is Malay. I'm not a huge fan of Malay in 1v1. I think there were better civs still on the table, but hey man, it's about Pete Martell's choice, not about mine. And we do expect Pete to be the aggressor, so the Malay with that faster uptime could be a civ that he really makes some headway with. We'll keep an eye on all of this as time rolls on, but I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready. We're locked and loaded. Okay, so we'll be ready for Chort and Pete Martell. They are in the game room. They've done a nice little civ draft. And we're ready to rock and roll. Pete picking the stronger civs while Chort is going for his favorite civs. I agree, Nim. Chort there did go for the Celts and Slavs. Slavs, of course, not a bad civ on Arabia, but it's not usually your second pick in a draft. It's actually the third pick overall. Celts is very rarely anybody's first pick on Arabia, at least in the 1v1s that I've been watching. But hey, you got to play to your strengths. Magyars for Chort should be, a very nice civ. I think he'll be just fine there. Vikings are a strong civ on Arabia, in my opinion. Vietnamese is a suspect pick, but maybe he has something interesting in mind to show us. Anyway, these guys are going to launch into game number 1 here. They have launched in already. They will play hidden civs in all of these games, and we're going to play all 5 matches. So let's rock and roll here, guys, as soon as the spec delay counts down. And I will say, oh, son, it is Sinkin coming through with the sub. Sinkin has resubscribed for 10 months. Tournament time, Killer 7 WoW. Thanks, man. Thanks, Sinkin. Sinkin is coming in with a sub, which is something I can add real quick to our tally. Very much appreciated, my friend. All sub money goes to the players for this event because, well, frankly, I want them to have a nice little purse. I think that already you can see that my bar is bigger than theirs if I show you the screen capture. Because when you donate, half of the money goes to the next event, which is going to be a very fun pro event. We're going to open that up. It's probably going to be a small 1v1 tournament, depending on how much money I can put in that. I think I might even put a little of my own change into it because, man, I just really want to see a good tournament. I think it's high time that I host something cool. But already we can guarantee the winner will get at least 30, the loser will get 20, and like I said, I'll raise these numbers up with a little bit of donations that we've had in the channel already. Pete's headphones are going to be, Major Guerreros. Hey, buddy. Pete's headphones are going to be a really nice upgrade for him. I can't wait to hear him after the headphones. Okay, guys, 20 seconds on the spec delay. Let's get ready to rock and roll in game number 1. Thanks again, Sinkin. Thanks again to Scarface. Thanks again to Kraka and Nim. Appreciate all the support, guys. Let's rock and roll here. I'm pumped up. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Game number 1 of the SplitB Tuesdays event here on the channel. It will be our friend Chort versus our buddy Pete Martell going at it live on the channel. Should be a very fun set of matches here. Just want to quickly make sure that our scoreboard is on, which it isn't. My apologies to everybody. Let's go ahead and get that scoreboard going, and let's try to start this one off again. We'll get the scoreboard in order, and we will rock and roll. My apologies, everybody. Okay. All right, guys, here we go again. Game number 1, Chort versus Pete Martell, Celts versus Ethiopians. It's going to be an Arabia matchup all day long between these two guys. SplitB Tuesdays, we're giving half of the donations to the players approximately. We'll see Chort in the purple. We will see Pete Martell in the orange, and it's going to be Celts Ethiopians, potentially a double men-at-arms sort of early play, but we'll see. Purple player is on the right side of the map. He will have to the north of him a decent wood line. His stone is up there as well. If he wants to switch into woadies a little later, he might be able to do so. The back of his map has a very nice large gold pile, so it should be a really, really nice safe spot for him. Also a back wood line to work with. Front berries, front stone, but a pretty wallable map for the Celts player if he wants to wall a bit. We do expect, at least Pete Martell and Chort both expected for Pete to be the early game aggressor in some of these matches. So if the orange player wants to forward, yeah, he can get some damage in. He could certainly like take away the berries and the extra stone and try to creep around. But it's not a great map to go forward on, I wouldn't say. On the other side of the map, we will see Pete Martell playing as the Ethiopians. He'll have that extra food and gold boost as he hits the feudal age, which should give him a nice little men-at-arms play if he wants it. But so far, it doesn't look like he wants that men-at-arms play because he's got 3 villagers on the wood line. We'll keep an eye on his wood economy as time rolls on. But for now, the orange player is roaming around. He's got front gold. He's already doing a little house walling on his side. His boar is in a very awkward position. Unfortunately for him, we're not playing any rematches here or restarts here. But this might be a good one to because that's a long lure. It's not that bad. Sheep on the back, which he'll find eventually. Very safe and cozy back stone for him. So if the orange player wants to go towers and men-at-arms, he really could do that pretty nicely. If he wants to go towers, he's going to have a pretty darn safe stone back there. Back berries are pretty safe as well. All is good in the hood for Pete Martell, but unfortunately for him, he has not lured in that first boar. He's having a little bit of trouble finding it because it's in such an awkward position. Nice scout blocking from Pete, and he's going to get that in just fine and dandy. Actually, might get that in without really taking any damage on the villager. So the Vill takes 1 hit, and Pete will be looking around for this second boar. A little bit of a rocky start for him, but, Pete Martell is a guy who's been up to 2.2k at different times in his career, so he's certainly not going to be totally thrown off by this. Okay, so early on, we've got Pete, who went forward to try to lame, I think, and came home to find his boars, and unfortunately, he went to the wrong part of the map, and now we've got Chort also going to the wrong part of the map. So these guys have yet to find each other, but they will figure it all out in a moment. All Buzz members should lose their mod, especially Salty. How did Sinkin lose his mod? I didn't unmod Sinkin. Anyway, live event going on here today, guys. I'm pumped up. I'm really excited for this one. I don't know if this event is going to be really cool in the future, but we've got at least 1 more week coming. Actually, look at the orange player. Okay, he's going to drop a couple more vills onto wood, sending the vill over to continue his wall off with houses. We're going to be ready next week with Say My Name versus Sobek. So we will have at least 1 more week guaranteed on this, and maybe we'll keep this going in the future. I hope so. Vill count at present is 18 for both players. Chort is a little bit out ahead of his opponent. Maybe not so surprising that Pete Martell has a couple seconds of idle time because he's had a lot of things to struggle against. He's had trouble finding his boars. He's had long lures. It's been a rocky dark age for him, but Pete Martell with the Ethiopians might be able to turn it all around when he hits the feudal age. Purple player is forward doing a little scouting around, and we will see the orange player forward as well. The militia are coming out for Chort, and it will not be men-at-arms. It will be a true drush by the looks of it from the purple player. So we'll see a true drush. We'll see continued Vill production for purple, and on the orange side of the map, we will see a barracks coming down, loom coming in, and probably a normal men-at-arms play. Ethiopian's player on 21 vills has about 10 seconds of idle time. It's not the end of the world. It's actually a smokingly good Dark Age, if you ask me, considering that his boar was on top of this hill and that he went forward to lame, but unfortunately his opponent wasn't down here. I think it's a really just perfectly fine start for Pete Martell. I see. I removed your mod when I deleted that link. Oh, no. All right. After this game, that's going to be on my list of things to do. We got a remod. We got a double mod Sinkin. He is the ultimate mod here on the channel. Orange player was looking maybe to go forward with some vills, but you know what? That drush from Chort is going to neutralize any sort of early tower offensive that was going to come out. The orange player actually maybe was just going over to gold. By the looks of it, he was just heading out to grab that gold. Now he's going to have to bring more villagers into the fray and his 2 militia. And I would say, so far, Chort has done a pretty nice job with this aggression. Orange doesn't really need to be on gold for men-at-arms. He just needs 10 gold because he is Ethiopians, but he's going to go up to gold with 4 vills and then try to sneak 2 villagers forward to maybe do some forwarding and towering. So we'll keep an eye on all of this. That back stone is still untouched by the orange player Pete Martell, who will be up to the feudal age in just a few more seconds. Purple player is actually, I'm really happy. I think Chort would be really happy with his early drush. He kind of neutralized his opponent's ability to surprise him with any early towers, and this economy is not exactly efficient early on, so I don't know, this could be a whole lot worse for the purple player. Nonetheless, our Ethiopian's player in orange has hit the feudal age. He will go men-at-arms. He will go double bid-axe. For the moment, he will not be able to afford an archery range to follow this up, but usually I can't either, not at this point. And yeah, those two vills are still looking to go forward. So the orange player is ready to come forward and try to tower up. Chort here is pretty nicely walled up. Towers are really not going to work so well on this side. But maybe the orange player can get around behind this wood line, not sure. Chort doing some really intelligent walling, I would say, early on. If he blocks in this part of the map and this part of the map, it's going to be super, super difficult for orange to push through. However, Pete Martell is going to go for it. He will have a tower to guard his melee units as he tries to push in through these houses, and we'll see how this goes. Drush 2 men-at-arms indeed. Men-at-arms upgrade coming in. It is 5 militia on the field for Chort, and Chort seems to have done his homework. I mean, we all kind of expected, even Pete Martell and Chort all mentioned that, that Pete would be the aggressor, and Chort here has done some nice early preparation to get ready for his opponent. Let's see, purple player will knock down his walls and walk forward to that tower, and we will see as it goes up if it can stay up, because purple's men-at-arms are out, and those units are kind of putting a little pressure on this forward from Pete Martell. As of now, Pete Martell does have his men-at-arms alive, but he's outnumbered 4-3, and his tower is going to be in some trouble. There's already 2 vills there poking away at it, and the orange player is going to have to really micro well to keep this offensive going. We will see purple jumping back and dropping a couple walls. Really intelligent play from Chort. The only real danger for him right now, in my opinion, is Pete jumping out and dropping another tower now that his men-at-arms are outside of the walls. So early on, Chort seems very, very prepared for this. Double ranges coming down for Chort. He's going to have a couple of skirm and a couple of archers coming. His men-at-arms are starting to head forward. And we'll see how this one goes down. Chort is a Celts and Slavs fanboy indeed, says Nim. He definitely is. He loves those 2 civs, and he is very confident with them. Orange player has 5 vills on stone, does not have anything to follow up yet. He's not going to have archers or skirms ready just yet. Purple's vills still out on the front taking a bit of damage. He will lose a villager there, but he'll have a defensive tower down. And I love Chort's position. He comes forward to try to do damage to his opponent. For now, he is walled out of doing too much. And there's that first archery range coming down from Pete Martell. So a very interesting game here early on. Pete, we all kind of expected him to be the aggressor. Chort expected him to be the aggressor. Chort actually went with the 5 militia into men-at-arms play, and now he's coming forward with archers and skirms. The purple player's in a great spot, but he is by no means out of the woods just yet. Tower's coming down for Pete Martell on his main gold, and he is doing some nice secondary walling to try to hold the line. Orange player is going to drop a forward lumber camp and try to get a little bit of wood eco going. His army waiting in the wings, but his tower push for now seems to be kind of over. Pete Martell having to spend a lot of stone on towers at home, and I expect the next tower maybe to come up to defend this wood line. There's just not really much else he can do. He's going to get some skirmishers into production, but there's just not very much time. This wall actually only has 1 HP. Is it even built at all? Well, here come those units from purple. So just enough quick walling from the orange player to probably keep his villagers and army alive. So far, Chort has done a nice job to deal with the tower aggression, making his opponent build defensive towers already. But you know what? Pete Martell's okay here. He's got a phalanx of 2 towers and his TC. The backside of his eco is a little bit exposed, but he's going to have enough stone for another tower soon. And he could just drop that next tower like here if he wants, or maybe even behind the walls, and probably fend off purple. But for now, it is Chort with fletching on the way, and it is, Pete Martell with a sneaky tower up here in the north of the map. Orange player sneaking a villager around. I didn't even see it, and he does take away a wood line there. For now, that wood line is gone, and the purple players abandon it, but he's still happily on gold and happily pumping out units that are headed to the front of the line. Defensive tower for Pete Martell, pretty much where we expected it, and for now, we will wait for the next step. Purple player is going to use an outpost and try to defend against the next tower from this vill. Can't let that villager sneak into the back of his eco, actually waiting with an archer or two to do damage there. In the meantime, as Purple tries to push in, this tower is on 60%. It would be absolutely devastating for Pete if he can't get this done, and he's going to pull a few more villagers into the fray to make sure it goes up. I think it's all good in the hood here as the skirmishers push this away. Chort's done a nice job to force defensive towers, but you know what? Pete Martell has some good defensive towers here. He gets a blacksmith down, he's got fletching coming, he's got a second range coming. This is okay for Orange. He's invested a lot. He's probably a little behind in this game. The score would suggest he's 200 points behind. But ultimately, how do you damage your opponent here? Pete Martell's got towers up all around his base for the most part, and the purple player is basically waiting for his moment to try to push in. Gonna grab a few units if he can here on the front, but pretty good game early on. It's anybody's match to take, in my opinion, but Chort does have a nice military lead, and if he keeps those units on the field until Castle Age, he may just be able to have some siege to go along with this army, and he may really make a strong push. If you're the orange player and you're thinking about other gold piles, well, there's one here way in the back of your eco. You could imagine a TC back there later on in the game if we get that far, or a mining camp and a tower or two. Orange player Pete does have enough for a few more towers, so keep all of that in mind. Project Belgium, Pete saw that I won last time with orange, so he's copying my color. Pete here is, I suppose we could say he's copying your color. I looked into the stats. I see that you have good numbers versus Chort, Belgium, so maybe Chort does not play well versus orange, but we'll see. For now, Chort is in a nice spot. That sneaky villager from the orange player has, I believe, gone back. I don't see that vill, and I don't see any more towers on that side. There's still 3 vills here taking lumber, which is kind of funny to think about. But at least for now, both guys positioning around. Chort on the way to Castle Age. Of course, you want to be Chort in this situation, but you do have a couple of problems to solve. You have to find a way to get through these towers and get in to pressure that eco. Pete is still in nice shape, and you could imagine Pete Martell will probably have enough for a castle drop in defense if he needs it. So it's pretty hard to make a full-on push. The biggest weakness I'd say on this map is orange's front gold. But for now, both guys microing around. +1 damage is in for both players. +1 defense is coming for both players. Chort still has the bigger army, but he does not really have an army big enough to break this front line at the moment. So we'll see Chort up to Castle Age. Pete Martell will need quite a bit more time. And oh, there's that sneaky villager from Pete Martell. Pete waited for his moment to strike. I don't even know where that villager was standing, but she was hidden from me, and she may be hidden from Chort. Chort might... He should have seen that coming in. He should see that villager still with his outpost up. But I'm sure he's busy microing on the front, and he may not catch that villager in time. The orange player is now back into the fog of war. Building that palisade was actually kind of a bad move, I think, because that would alert me that, oh, what's that piece of orange on my map? But here we go. Another tower coming down from Pete Martell and another palisade that kind of gives away his position. If Chort looks back, he can definitely deal with this. But for now, he's so busy microing on the front. Castle Age is in. Crossbowman is coming. Purple player is still making a push. But man, is he going to be sad to see that tower come up. He could still rush it down. There's just going to be one vill inside. But that's going to be a bit annoying in my opinion. Purple's going to win this fight. It's a nice fight for Pete in a way because he grabs some damage on these units before they become crossbows with Bodkin Arrow. But now that upgrade is in and Orange has to go back behind his towers. Ethiopian's player is still not clicked up to the Castle Age, so that upgrade will be quite a while from now. But this watchtower is going to be annoying. Oh boy, it's good to catch the stream again. Hey, Buttface. Hey, buddy. The McGreevy. Surprised he isn't following the wood yet. Hey D90. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Chort, look at Chort floating a bunch of wood. He will be happily maybe dropping some TCs down here soon, but he's going to be unhappy to find that tower from his opponent. For now, the purple player has an army on the front. He's still posturing around, but he is yet to really drive any stakes into the heart of orange. Ballistics is on the way for Chort. He'll have a ram coming out already, and he's going to deal with this tower. Just one vill in that tower. It's not the end of the world, but it's going to be a little bit of annoyance and a little bit of idle time for him. T90 is here. Hey man, thanks again for the advice. T90 was telling me, hey, you gotta PM, you gotta private message some of the pros if you wanted to play. That worked out great, man. I appreciate all that advice. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. It is SplitB Tuesdays, week number 2. We have Chort and we have Pete Martell going at it here live. We will see this tower from Pete go down. Ethiopian's player is going to have to try to sneak that villager out, but the crossbowman will probably hunt her down. Ballistics is already in for purple. Pete Martell on his way up to the Castle Age. Does have a bit of stone in the bank, but he's had to spend it on more towers to defend his position. Orange player will ultimately need to expand out to the left side to take more stone and gold. Gold especially is probably going to be tricky for him to hold for the whole game, but we'll see. Double towers down for now, and we'll see how that continues to shape up. Crossbowmen on the front, happy to grab down a couple of vills. The vill count is still nicely in Pete Martell's favor, but his TC obviously is going to be idle while he goes to castle, so maybe it's a 3 or 4 vill difference for Pete. This villager, I believe, is now dead, and the TC is now coming down for purple. He's going to bring his ram forward and keep cleaning this up. Very nice game from Chort so far. He seemed to be one step ahead of Pete Martell's early. Pete wanted to go towers early. Chort was a step ahead, and now Pete is on the back foot, basically for the whole game. T90 is 53 points from 2K. Holy cow, man. Good for you. That's awesome, dude. T90, man, embracing the improvement mentality. Love that. Gotta love that. Tower from Orange is going down. His villagers got sniped by crossbows, and Chort is kind of putting himself in a great position. The vill count is going to be about equal. The military count is also going to be about equal. We will have to see Pete upgrade his skirms. He definitely has to continue to play a defensive game for quite a while longer. But there's at least one villager. Is that the vill? Did she sneak out of this entire base? How is that possible? Castle Age is in, Elite Skirm is in, Bodkin Arrow is on the way. Purple player is going to try to grab a few more vills or a little more damage, but his army is still ultimately going to be walled out. So we are going to have to see a little siege along with this army of crossbows, I think. Rams coming forward, villagers coming forward for a 3rd TC now for Chort. On the other side, Pete Martell is floating a good amount of wood. He can drop TCs if he wants, or he can save up that stone for a castle. I'm not sure what his plan is going to be, but for now, it's a siege workshop that is going to be denied. Stairway denied. He wants a defensive siege workshop to deal with his opponent's siege. He's got the elite skirm upgrade in. He's got leather archer armor coming. So he's really going to hard counter Chort's army. Chort's got the smaller army and the less upgrades and already a lot of damage. So he cannot win that fight, but he will reinforce the front with a couple of mangoes and see if he can make a push. Hello, Goldstones. Hey, neighbor. We got a live one on our hands. It's game number 1, SplitB Tuesdays, week number 2, Chort and Pete Martell going at it. Chort needs to get out of dodge with this army. He really can't win that fight. Horse collar coming for Pete Martell. It happens. A little bit late, horse collar. Couldn't afford it earlier on. Purple player is ready to try to push in on this gold, but Pete's chances are... Oh, man, he needs these skirms. Oh, boy. I was about to say Pete's chances are looking okay, but, oof, taking a pretty rugged shot to the face there, and a lot of those units on low HP. Purple is going to continue to try to micro around this. We'll see if Chort can get another big shot in, but for the moment, those elite skirms are a little bit in an awkward position. The ram didn't survive, but it is putting pressure on the front lines. Orange player is still walking away from that mango. Not too much to see there. What's probably worth noting is a 12 villager advantage for Chort and 3 TCs. In the meantime, Pete Martell has, well, he's got 2 TCs now. His second TC just came up, and it came up right where we expected it to. He needs this extra gold and stone if he's going to keep his game alive. He's still got a couple skirms roaming around in the back of Purple's economy, and the Purple player has disengaged from those units, and he's kind of left them alone. Mangonel Micro on the front. Well, score 1 shot for Pete. He's actually going to get 2 for 1 Mangonels, which is a very nice little trade for him. And all of a sudden, Chort's push is a little bit anemic. Granted, Chort is kind of building up a nice economy. He's got a nice villager lead. He's keeping 3 TCs going. He does not seem like he's trying to win the game right here, right now. He's just trying to keep his opponent busy and invested in a fight. But all that being said, Chort is about to get raided by some skirms, which are a little bit sticky and a little bit difficult for him to counter. Mangonel out to defend that. A couple of crossbows on the front to do a little raiding. We'll see. This game is going to keep rolling forward. Scores are still about 300 points difference. Nice military lead for Orange, who's trying to sneak in a couple units. But a very nice villager lead for Purple. Uni coming down. Ballistics may be coming in soon for the orange player. He's going to avoid a mangonel shot for now, and he will have a couple crossbows to follow this up. Still has to dance around the mangonels, but there he goes again with another mangonel shot. Pete Martell has really done a nice job. He's killed 3 mangonels, and he's lost 1 mango of his own so far. So Pete is keeping hope alive. Chort is going a bit more for the macro game. He wants to build up an economy here. Celt's player, is he on stone? Question mark? Yes, he is. So we'll see a castle drop soon from the purple player, I suppose, and maybe he'll transition into some woads. Pete Martell going ballistics, and he's continuing to try to make a push here in the castle edge. Just 60 vills for the orange player. He's got 2 TCs down, but he's going to get swamped out of this game if he waits too long. He's done a nice job militarily. He's sniped a couple mangonels, but the clock is definitely ticking because Chort is going to click Imp somewhat soon, spending a little bit of food there on handcart, but can also drop a castle and probably 2 castles in the not-so-distant future. If you're purple, you do have a little problem with gold. Your gold just ran out on that side, so you need to transition some more villagers to another gold pile. If you could get a castle down here and take this gold, it might be nice in the later game, but there are extra gold piles elsewhere on the map, like the bottom corner. So we'll see these guys expand out to more gold very shortly. Chort's got a lot of idols in the back, but he's now got them all back to work. They're walking across the map to grab more gold, and here comes that castle drop. Purple player is headed up the hill, and that is a ballsy castle drop. He is not going to be, the one who's too squeamish for a big push. Mangonel is going to get sniped because the villagers were there blocking it, and this is the moment Pete Martell needs. He needs to climb this hill and deny this castle. Purple player, for now, looks to have deleted his castle, still has a stone in the bank, so I think he's okay, and he's going back. Yeah, unfortunately, Chort wasn't going to get that down, and he made the right call to go back with that army. Made the right call to go back. Needs to repair this mango a bit. No, that will get sniped as well. Pete Martell is still in a nice position, but the clock is definitely ticking as Wheelbarrow just comes in now for orange. He really has to do something in counter. Purple player's castle will come up behind his TC. It's a decent spot. One wonders, maybe, I don't know, maybe he could scuttle that farm and put it a little closer, but hey man, castle's coming down. Maybe the woads will start coming out soon. Imperial Age coming for Chort. It's not coming from this front TC, so he's still in a very nice spot on the way to end. Gonna have to absorb a little aggression and gonna have to find a gold mine. Right now, gold is a problem. These are the extra golds that Chort was hoping to take. He also can try to take this one in the back, but Pete Martell is still here with a villager and a siege workshop coming. So purple needs to find a way to get to that gold. He needs to find a way to stop losing mangonels. That's a good one. A 1-for-0 mango shot so far. Maybe 2-for-1 if he gets lucky. Can micro away from the skirms, but not forever. Pete Martell is still really trying to push into this. Pete's on 75 vills. He does have a decent economy going, but he is not up to Imp. At the moment, his resources are nowhere close to being able to click Imp, and he's still missing a lot of his eco upgrades. He just got Wheelbarrow a moment ago. He's just getting Heavy Plow now, so he's not exactly, his economy is not exactly firing on all cylinders. Very messy game, says the McGreevy. Yeah, it's been a messy one. These two guys have been putting pressure on each other, and so far, pressure has busted a couple of pipes. Scale Mail Armor on the way for Chort. Maybe Wodie's on the way for him as well. It's going to be a really hard game for Pete Martell. If Chort can get a couple of woads out, about 10 woads is all you really need to deal with this flat out, maybe even less, with a couple of upgrades. So the woads are coming in. The next castle could be coming soon. There it is. It will be a castle for the purple player, but it's going to be denied. I don't think it's going to go up. Just 52% of the way done. Crossbows are here to deny it. And yeah, it's going to be denied for now. That's going to really slow production, and it really buoys Pete Martell's chances to get back into the game. But it's going to be a really hard time for him nonetheless. I mean, once Imp is in, once a couple more upgrades are in, woads should swamp this position on the front, and Pete Martell will have a little bit of trouble keeping his offensive aggression going. We shall see. Towers for now, knocking down a couple more crossbowmen. Those crossbows are trying to roam into the eco, but there's a castle waiting for them, so they're probably not going to make it home for Christmas. Purple player needs to get back out and grab that castle and finish it, but he also is waiting for his time to strike. I think this is a group that you can go in and overwhelm pretty quickly. Orange player has a little siege in the back of his opponent's eco. He has also stonewalled the extra gold from Chort. So a very nice little bit of laming there from purple, and Pete, or rather from Pete, and Pete will also drop a tower onto Chort's newest castle. So Chort he's got a couple problems to solve, and he's got to start solving those problems quickly. Waiting for plate mail armor, to wait for the right engagement. Pete Martell's eco has gotten a little bit bigger than Chort's, but of course Chort up into the Imperial Age already. The hard thing about this position is it's mangonels and towers and crossbows, none of which are really perfect to counter the woads. The woad number here is now getting up close to 20-ish. I'd say it's probably 15. With plate mail armor, it's going to be a bit annoying. Orange players still building up outposts, dropping watchtowers, trying to annoy as much as possible, but the woads are coming out. And this is not a fun position for Orange. You're going to lose that army on the front, losing the mangonels. Pete can get back to work. He can drop a castle on this gold probably with his map control. And he may be just fine. We'll see. Pete Martell is... he's gaining a little bit of momentum on that eco. His food economy is slowly creeping up, and he will eventually be able to click up to the Imperial Age, but Woad Raiders are on the way in. Chort's not even going to go and respond to all of that damage. He's not going to go save that castle. He's just going to go forward with that group of Woads and run straight into the eco. Hello, hello. Micromute. Yo, yo, yo. Woad Raiders doing what Woad Raiders do best. They are raiding. Defense upgrades are all in. No damage upgrades in because, well, frankly, you just need to survive the arrow fire. Orange player is stonewalling his opponent in. I believe the castle got deleted, but I'm not quite sure. Chort does have enough stone for another, and he's going to drop it right where he needs to drop it. That's the perfect spot. Protect this gold pile, put a little heat on your opponent's economy. It's going to be really hard for Pete Martell. However, these Woads, although they've done a bunch of damage, they do need to get onto the villagers a bit more. Nice job to idle the entire back economy from Orange. Chort is still pushing in, and the Orange player, Pete Martell, he's all in for the Castle Age. Pete is pushing on the front. He's stonewalling a lot of towers in. He's done a lot of damage to this eco. A lot of annoyance. But I don't know if it's enough. Pete Martell with a score lead, but I don't really envy his position because the Woad Raiders are still putting a hurting on his economy. Losing a lot of vills, has a lot of idols. It's a really, really messy first game of the day. But somebody's going to win it here, and I think it could be Chort. Chort just retaking the score lead. Does have a safe gold pile here on the side. Needs to expand out and take more gold. Maybe this gold pile is next for him. But the Woad Raiders are, well, kind of getting cleaned up. Some of them have certainly gotten knocked down, and we will see Showtell Warriors on the field for Orange. A really great first game between Chort and Pete Martell. This has been a really fun one. It's 75 vills for Purple because his economy is getting annoyed and raided and towered. And it is 85 villagers for Orange as his economy had a bunch of Woads inside of it. The Orange player has pretty much survived that early Woad raiding. Did definitely knock him down a peg. I think about 20 villagers lost their lives in that action. But now that the Showtells are out, it is not quite open season anymore. And those Woad Raiders might have to be transitioned into a slower, more grinding army. Definitely a good position for Chort still, but he's not out of the woods, man. Pete Martell has put a lot of pressure on him here in the Castle Age. Stone mines on the front are still under pressure. But we will see. We'll see. Chort grabbing some relics. Castles are up. 2 castles for Purple already. Not ready for a third just yet. His Trebs are working away at the front of the economy, but they've got a long way to go. Pete Martell is okay-ish here, man. The Showtells are coming out. If he can find a way to hold the line for a while, I could actually see, maybe, someday, Imperial Age coming. Who needs the elite Woad tech anyway? Elite Woad Raider is not in for Purple, and it's not in the cards just yet. Not in the cards just yet. Floating a lot of gold, but he seems to be holding on to that for a while. He seems to be a little reluctant to go super deep into Woads. Iron casting is on the way, more raiding is coming, but Woads versus Showtells, you know, it's not exactly the best option for Purple. He's happy to treb down a bit on the front, but maybe we'll see a little unit transition from him as the game rolls on. For now, the purple player is spreading a couple units here and there. He has stopped most of the economy of Pete Martell from expanding out. Pete at the moment is on 97 vills, still in the lead villager-wise. Blast Furnace coming for Chort, Chainmail Armor coming for the orange player. Shotel Warriors are in. Siege Workshops on the front, and we'll see if Pete Martell can knock down a couple traps. Pete's got a mango out. Purple player will knock it down in time, and the Trebs will continue to work away at this castle. Pete Martell's position needs to turn into something more positive soon. He's got Shotels waiting in the wings, but they can't quite push in against the castle and the Woads. At least I don't think so. We'll see. Mangonel coming. Mangonel shot could help a lot. Decent target fire onto the ground, and the orange player is still holding the line, but his castle is now gone. Woad Raiders are still not elite. They do have some damage upgrades in, and maybe they can get back to raiding. Still hanging out behind the Trebs, still taking some free buildings while he can. I don't know, let's look. Let's look around the map. Purple player will soon win back some gold, but he's taking a lot of time there because he's not using his ram. Unfortunate that rams don't auto-target walls. That seems like an obvious thing that they should do. But orange is in trouble, and I don't know, as long as Chort can keep gold flowing in, I think he'll be happy. 1,300 gold in the bank. Pete Martell going foraging in Squires. Pete's resources, no gold whatsoever in the bank. Does he have gold to mine, even? I don't know. At the moment, eco numbers suggest that we have 0 gold miners for Pete Martell, and oh boy, does that really, really suck. Orange needs to find some gold ASAP. He's building out some watchtowers. He's trying to build out his eco. There is a little bit of an army here waiting for Chort, or a Mangonel waiting. So it's going to be a really, really rough winter for Pete Martell with no gold. Probably over, says T90. Well, it's looking really bad. If you have a gold economy, you can get a good engagement with the Shotels. Maybe you can find a way to bolster this, but both guys on 100 villagers, 52 military for Chort. It does not seem like there's a whole lot of hope left in game number 1 for Pete Martell. We will see if Pete can pull this one back, but he's still trying to find some gold to mine, and the purple player is still finding villagers to kill. Shotels are quick, but they're still a little bit of a step behind this army from Pete Martell, and Pete is continuing to roll in the Woads. Or rather, Chort is still rolling in the Woads. Woad Raiders keep rolling in. The purple player has gotten a ton of mileage out of these Trebs. The Woads are still just running a little bit ahead of that army of Shotels. Shotels are quick, but they're not really catching up here, and I mean, ultimately, if Pete can't even catch this second army, what is he going to do about the main army that's actually now pushing in onto his economy? I don't think there's much left to do here for Orange. He still is not ready to give the GG, but he's in a lot of trouble. Hello, Daniel. Daniel and Belgium both stopping by. Oh, man. Good to have you guys with us. Those were our players in Week 1. They put on a hell of a show. I hope you guys enjoyed Week 1 of SplitB Tuesdays. Here in Week 2, Chort, so far, has been able to absorb early aggression from Pete Martell. He's really happily raiding the bejesus out of this eco. There's 45 idols for Orange. He hasn't lost that many villagers in the last few minutes, but 45 idols is just absolutely crippling. His TCs are going down. His castles have gone down. He's got 2 TCs under pressure. There isn't a whole lot of hope for Pete Martell, but he's not given the GG just yet. He's still expanding his eco out to the side, still trying to grab extra gold piles, trying to hold on for dear life, but there's no life left. And in game number 1, we will see Chort grab the win. Really fun game here to start things off. It was Celts, that's Chort's favorite civ, and Pete Martell with the Ethiopians. Pete tried to sneak out some vills to try to do some forward towering here, but Chort was ready for him. Chort had some militia out. He had a true drush on the field, and he eventually expanded that to 5 men-at-arms. There was just no real way for Pete to get any momentum on his tower push. He built 1 tower here and then got denied. And then he had to build towers at home to defend his kind of exposed resources. So, game number 1 will go to Chort, and we will jump out of here and just say hello to you guys real quick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. That's about as good as it's going to get. That's about as good as it's going to get. And oh, baby, T90 is now a subscriber to the channel. Thanks, Scarface. Thanks, man. Subscribing is going all to the players today. I'll show you guys an update of our donation count. We are keeping tabs on everything here. It's been a very nice, very generous day from you guys already. We're already pretty far along if we're thinking about the goals of how much we might want to try to raise. You can see here with our donation distribution, subscribers go all to the players. 60% of every $5 in your sub goes to the winner, and 40% goes to the loser. And currently, it's 50-50 for Bit and PayPal. Currently, we've got the winner's pot all the way up, above 30 bucks already. The loser is up around 20. Pete Martell playing for some headphones. Chort playing for a book, and he wants to give the rest of his money to support Scripter64. Whether he can do that or not, I don't know. Scripter is a little bit of a guy who has not asked for any donations, so we'll see if he can do it. But get this out of the way. I want to see it full screen. But yeah, guys, great progress already, and the Killer Bee May event will be a 1v1 small tournament with the top pros. We're going to just keep saving our money for that, and we'll try to put a really nice price tag down. Maybe try to do something on the weekend. Maybe we can pull in T90 to cast those games on his channel too. That would be so much fun. I just want to, I feel like it's kind of our time to pay our dues a bit. We've had some really generous donations, and we've cast so many other people's events and tournaments that, you know, frankly, we should just I don't know, pay our dues. Okay, so Team 1 is Pete Martell. Team 2 is Chort, and it will be Team 2 with the win in Game 1. So Chort grabbing a win. He grabbed the momentum. He did use his favorite Civ in Game 1, but we'll see if he can keep that momentum rolling in Game number 2. I do want to quickly update our Civ chart. We will cross out the Ethiopians, and we will cross out the Celts, and I'll show you guys what the lay of the land looks like. Hello again to Daniel and Project Belgium. Thanks for hanging out, guys. You put on a great show last week. This week, Pete Martell and Chort. Game number 1 goes to Chort. Celts are off of the docket now, and Ethiopians are off. So players will have Slavs, which is Chort's second favorite Civ. Magyars, surprisingly Vietnamese, and Vikings left for the player Chort. Pete Martell has Aztecs, Burmese, Malians, and Malay. We'll see. We'll see how the next game goes in just a few moments. I'm ready. Let's see if these guys are ready after their brief break for game number 2. Just roll in here. Just quickly saying hello to everybody. And oh, snap! We got a donation. FFL dropping a $5 on us. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. We'll add that to our little tally. It's so much fun adding money to the tally. I just love graphs. That will give us a little bit more wind in our sails here. We are really creeping up quickly. Players have launched into game number 2. It will be Chort grabbing the win in game 1. And you can see the up to the moment donation goals here are doing great. These players are going to have a really nice chunk of change. And I think we'll be ready after game number 2 for the interview with, I don't know, whoever wins the game is who we'll give the interview to first. It will be... we do have a 5-minute interview with Chort. We have about a 3-minute interview with Pete Martell. Pete is going for a new headset, so his interview, of course, the audio is not amazing. And we need to mod Sinkin. Is Sinkin still here? I think Sinkin took off, but, oh, no, there he is. I think we need Sinkin to get his mod back. Vietnam, Viking, and Celts, says Belgium. I know, the Civ choices were really strange from Chort, but I don't know if everybody saw this already, but Chort has played a ton of games with Celts and Slavs. So that's his bread and butter. Those are his 2 best Civs. He also mentioned that he really likes Magyars, so it's not surprising to see that he chose those. But the Vietnamese is a weird pick. I can't really think of many 1v1 scenarios where I'm thinking like, oh, I got Vietnamese. This is going to be a great matchup for me. But I don't know. 20 seconds left on the spec delay. We'll rock and roll into the next game here in just a moment. Let's actually take the overlay off already and make sure the scoreboard looks good. Scoreboard looks good, and we are launching into game number 2. I find Vietnamese to be a peculiar pick unless he wants to lame. Hey, Kashav. Interview with a guy with a crappy headset. Game number 2 is upon us, guys. Chort was able to absorb Pete Martell's aggression in game 1. And Chort's back here with a game ahead, and he's going to use Vietnamese in game number 2. This is the pick we've all been scratching our heads on. Why would you choose Vietnamese in a 1v1 on Arabia? But Chort must have something in mind. Vietnamese, of course, you can see your opponent's TC. That's a nice little early game bonus. Someone in the chat just mentioning that it's a good day, it's a good civ to lane with. But other than that, there's not that many huge plus sides for this civ. We do expect Chort to be a little defensive early. Pete Martell is traditionally the more aggressive player of the two. But, you know, Chort's play last game with a couple early militia really did save him from all that aggression from Pete Martell. Anyway, game 2 is upon us. Chort is the Vietnamese, Pete Martell is the Malay. Vietnamese player will have an extra gold pile in the back, which he can use, a decent safe back wood line. Gold and stone off to the side, which might be something he can protect. And a nice area, although it's front berries, it's a nice area for like a double duty mill with the deer there as well. All in all, it's not a great map with this hill, but it could be a whole lot worse, I suppose, for Chort. On the other side of the map, Pete Martell is roaming around looking for his resources. He will have a very nice back gold pile. The back wood line is nicer, but this back gold is okay. Somewhat wallable there with a little bit of cliff, and he's already pushing some deer. So no laming here early for Pete. Pete's berries are on the front. His extra golds and all of his stones are kind of forming like a big U-shaped, outer part of his base, but it's not too bad. I mean, at least he's got a decent gold location, a decent back wood, a decent back stone. Not so bad for the Malay player. We might see Pete Martell go up early. Malay have that faster uptime. But Pete is a really aggressive guy, so he might try to go up on 21, use that earlier uptime to go into some men-at-arms and make a little push. But we will see. For now, it is just building up phases of the game, both guys scouting around their side of the map. And I'll say thanks again to all of you for hanging out and tuning in on SplitB Tuesdays. I don't know if this event is a good idea, but it's the best idea I could come up with for the first real event here in the channel. And we're going to see if we can make a go of it. Hopefully people are out there having fun. We're going to split the revenue, of course. That's the whole point of the name SplitB with the two players. Pete Martell playing for a headset, and Chort as playing for a book. He wants to get Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He said it's a really inspirational book that he's always enjoyed. And he wants to put the rest of the money towards Scriptor if he can. Don't know if Scriptor will accept the money, but we'll hear in the interview from Chort after the game why that is his choice. Let's see. Oh, we really should have put down... I didn't make a contest. We'll make a contest for game number 3. Thanks, Daniel, for that. That's my bad. Usually we will have people given the option to choose who's going to win each game. 4 vills on wood for both sides. Vietnamese player Chort did not try to go forward early and lame. He's still looking for some of his resources, I suppose. Did he not find this boar? No, Chort doesn't know about that boar on the back. So, unfortunately, the Vietnamese player is working hard to find that back boar. On the other side of the map, though, we do have the scout forward from Pete Martell, and he's already found kind of the nicest part of this economy, this gold and stone pile off to the left flank of Purple's base. He's also going to find those front berries with 5 vills on the berries. Kind of interesting. Vietnamese players still building up, did have 4 vills on wood quite early, and could go with some early aggression. But will it be early enough? The Malay being such a quick civ, and that barracks is coming down already, could be a little bit difficult to stand toe-to-toe with that. But we'll see. Let's see how this one goes down. Hey, Hoyerly. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Flo. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you guys with us here today. It has been a really fun first match. I think that was a great first match. Very back and forth. Very exciting. Pete Martell wants to grab some momentum here in game number 2. And if you ever had an opportunity to grab some momentum, it's going to be when your opponent picks the Vietnamese in 1v1. For now, the barracks is denied from Chort. He's going to have to be patient as his boar comes in a bit late. Usually, having to micro around this will give you at least a couple seconds of idle TC, but we'll see when Chort clicks up if he has any idle TC. So far, his barracks is still coming down. The orange player has gone with Militia in the Dark Age. So it's going to be a true-ish drush from orange, which surprises me. I thought he'd go up quickly and try to go for a lot of aggression. Chort, I believe, has had essentially 0 idle TC this game, which is pretty awesome considering he was probably freaking out about finding that boar. He's had 5 Vils on berries to compensate, and he's going to go up, I believe, right now at a decent time. There it is. Feudal Age coming in, and purple player is hanging out in defense. His barracks is down, but there's nothing coming out of there just yet. 4 Vils headed over to the wood line, and we have not seen any villagers mining gold for purple yet. We've also seen not very much scouting for purple. He knows where his opponent's TC is, but he's hanging out in a defensive position, and he's looking for that drush. So Chort here has found the drush early on, and let's see if that makes him queue up a militia of his own. Yeah, he will. Purple player will queue up 2 militia. That's all he can afford for now, and he's going to chase that drush home. Pete Martell taking a couple of deer. He's looming up, and he is going up on 25 Vils. He'll be up at about the same time as Chort, maybe a tiny bit later, but that melee fast up time is going to put him in just a fine position. Orange player a little close to the TC, could have taken a little damage, but didn't, and soon he will have some militia rolling around to that back wood line. Very interesting early game. Pete Martell is still not up, so Pete is throwing me for a loop. There's his feudal time. Clicking feudal on 26 villagers. He'll be up pretty quickly, and he will make Chort play a little defensively. Purple player has sent 3 Vils out to the gold pile. He has pumped out 2 militia already, and he can totally deal with this drush. If you're Pete Martell, I don't know. This is a time, buying you time sort of a drush, not a drush that's here to do damage. Just trying to be a little bit annoying, keep your opponent focused on defense. Walls coming up for the orange player. He will protect that back gold and back wood line, and it's all good in the hoods so far for Pete, but he's got a lot more work to do to wall himself in. 11 seconds in the end was the idle time, but prior to, he had to idle to get the rest of his food. Chort there had to idle. Prior to that, idling to finish off what he needed for food, he was actually really close to perfect, I would say. Very, very close, within a couple seconds of what you would expect from a guy like Leary, for instance. But yeah, he did have to idle. Did have to idle a bit right before the click up. Turned out to be a pretty decent Dark Age for him, but not a perfect one. Pete Martell is still keeping his drush alive. Purple player has put down some damage. These units probably won't be able to do much more, but both guys are up to feudal. And we'll see how this continues to go. Obviously, the melee player with that faster uptime should have a few more Vils, and he has done a nice job to harass the wood line for now. Going to be hard to pick a villager here, but we'll see as that first archer rolls out for purple. Purple player keeping his scout on the run because he's got not enough HP to fight, and for now, it is still a very defensive play for Chort. Chort's had a very defensive early game. Pete Martell, out early, out aggressive, trying to be annoying, is really nicely and happy at home. He's dropped a range, skirmishers coming, double ranges on the way. 4 Vils on gold. We may see him transition into some archers, but for now, he's got a couple skirms. And we reset, and we take a breath, and we basically say that this game is right where it should be. Nobody's been able to snipe a Vil. Nobody's been able to do anything crazy just yet. And game number 2 has, at least so far, been a pretty even one. Pete Martell knows a lot about Chort's base. Chort knows nothing about Pete Martell's side. Chort with 1 HP on his scout, so he wants to go forward and see what he can find in his opponent's side. But for now, he has no idea where to hit, and that's a little bit of a hard thing to come across because he's going to find walls from his opponent everywhere. It's going to be hard for him to even identify where is my opponent taking gold, where is he taking wood, because he's walled out of a lot of those areas. And of course, that 1 HP scout is not going to last long. It's already dead. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. To the right of Pete's base. Looked nice, though. Yeah, to the right side of Pete's base, he's doing a lot of walling. He does have that nice cliff. Maybe that's what you're talking about, Scarface. Yeah, it would be really nice to go out there and wall that up, but it's hard, man. It's hard in the early game. I'm not surprised that he didn't get there. Skirmishers for Orange are out. Neither player with fletching just yet, but Chort is on the defensive. Skirmishers inside of his base. Nice micro from Orange to grab down 2 archers already. Gonna have trouble with the villagers, especially since the scout is on 3 HP. But still, Pete, with another small investment and another little bit of idle time, is fine. Pete Martell is fine here in game number 2. He's continuing to build up structure and build up his eco at home, and he's continuing to annoy his opponent. This is essentially the Feudal Age version of a drush, I guess. Just trying to annoy some villagers. Purple player having to pull 4 vills to chase this group around. Padded archer armor coming for Pete Martell. He will happily counter these archers from Chort for now. Chort adding in a couple skirms of his own. But the next batch coming from Pete, and Chort here is in a little bit of trouble, man. He's caught under his own TC. He's trying to transition over to some skirms. His archers are actually kind of a liability because he's trying to defend with them. I don't know exactly what the answer is, but maybe a tower here and sending that army forward is the better move. I just don't know. I don't think you can really stop the skirms with your archers, but for now, Chort is grabbing padded archer armor, and he's giving it a try. +1 defense already in from the Malay player. A little meat shielding villager out on the front, but man, Chort's in a rough spot. He's got 11 military. Fletching coming for Orange. Chort is basically on the run as Pete continues to micro around his skirmisher. So Pete Martell putting on a cheap and annoying clinic. How to keep your opponent busy with the inexpensive units like skirms as you roll around in their base. A villager dying to skirmisher fire. That's the worst way to go. Death by 1,000, I don't know, needle pricks. 1,000 cuts. But nonetheless, that purple army is still hanging in defense. The irony, going skirms with the other civs with imp skirms winning. Well, for now, the skirmisher play has worked really nicely. I mean, why not? If your opponent is Vietnamese, why not go skirms? Orange player getting a little close to the TC here, but he can tank a little arrow fire. Chort adding in a stable now, and he's going to have to find a couple of scouts. He's going to have to navigate a couple of scouts into his opponent's army. Orange player Pete is going back with that small group. His little group initially still has 4 skirms alive, and they're still out in this economy. They're just going to stand ground and annoy villagers and try to stay alive, try to stay annoying. Purple player pushing out, but Chort, again, knows nothing about his opponent's base. Has a lot of gold in the bank, can keep pumping archers. Pete Martell maybe with a little bit more of a rounded economy. Both guys approximately where they should be on villagers. Purple player might have fallen a couple of vills behind where he should be. But ultimately, no huge damage yet. It's certainly Pete Martell's game, though. I think he's leading the dance at the moment. He's going to have to go back and regroup and prepare for those scouts coming out. But Chort's investment into scouts kind of has to find some damage, because if he doesn't find some damage with these units, he's going to be up the creek without a paddle. It's a lot of food. Scouts for now seem to be killing all. Those skirmishers are in some hot water. Purple player will lose his scouts eventually, but he's getting good engagements here. Chort is okay as his scouts continue to roam in and put down damage. But Pete's going to go back home, and he's going to be, I think he's going to be in an okay spot. We'll see. More and more archers coming out for Orange. He is going to eventually wall in this left side with some houses and some structure. It is +1/+1 for the Orange player and +1/+1 for Chort. Chort's also got a couple of scouts in the mix. And what does that mean for him? Well, it means he spent some food, but ultimately it's okay. Chort's eco is just fine. Pushing out with a couple of scouts here, but is getting in some good damage, and we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. Okay, attention pros here. How often do you do +1 defense before fletching with skirms and archers? It's a good question. We'll have to wait and see what those pros say. We'll have a couple of pros hanging out. I'm okay with it. Skirmishers there are not going to kill villagers. They're only really there to like counter those early archers. So, I don't know. Maybe it's okay. May not have had the gold for it, but he probably did have it. I don't know. Chort on the way to Castle. Pete Martell on the way to Wheelbarrow. Third archery range coming down for Pete. Pete's had a nice early game. He's caused a lot of annoyance and a lot of idle time, but Chort is quite okay. His economy is firing pretty nicely. He's got 6 villagers over to stone, 7 villagers on gold, still pumping double range archers as the Vietnamese because, well, why not? Vietnamese archers are pretty nice. That little extra HP, I suppose. 3 ranges down, and yeah, I mean, Pete's going to wait for Wheelbarrow. He's going to click up, and we're going to reset and go into the Castle Age. Third range is interesting because if you're Pete Martell here, that means, all right, I'm going to really push on archer or skirmisher production, and it looks like it's going to be archer production. But it's a tough pill to swallow because your opponent, Chort, is the Vietnamese. He's on stone. He's probably going to get a defensive castle down, and he's probably going to have maybe the best unit to counter your archers, which will be the Rats. Rats coming out with a lot of defense versus arrow fire. So it's going to be a little tricky, but the orange player for now is going to make a go of it. Castle Age Repeat is coming. The initial start of that upgrade comes later than his opponent, but he's only going to be 30 seconds behind. I always forget about that dang melee bonus. Orange player roaming in, putting down some damage. Chort is, he's floating a lot of food. He's not really ready yet with his castle. Crossbowman is coming. Bodkin Arrow is coming. And we'll continue to see the purple player flesh out his eco with the TC next to his gold pile. Chort's going to power build that TC with all of these vills, just to make sure, I suppose, that he doesn't get raided there. But that's going to stop his gold economy for a moment, and it might actually stop him from production just for a brief second. Triple range archers coming for Pete Martell. Bodkin Arrow coming for him right away. Crossbowman is on the way as well, and so is the University. So Pete is going to go for quick ballistics and triple ranges and try to overwhelm his opponent with a bigger army of archers. I still don't know if that will work, but I'm really interested to see how this pans out. I think Pete had a very nice Dark Age. I think he's in a good position here with a couple extra vills, but we'll see. We'll see if his army can get in and do damage. It's still no defensive castle yet from Chort. He's still waiting a bit longer to get a little more stone. He's got 1 battle elephant out already. That is a strong unit versus crossbows, of course. And it might be difficult for Orange to get in damage. 1 elephant is not quite going to do the job. Needs some archers or skirms behind this, but the idea of elephants is a pretty good one, I think, in the long run. Castle is still denied for a moment, but the purple player will get exactly 650 plus 3 stone in the bank. So we can see a castle drop anytime we want from purple, but he's in a lot of trouble. There's a lot of units coming from Pete Martell into his economy. Chort halfway coming back with his crossbows, but for now his entire army is caught in the wrong part of the map. He's got double range archers still coming down, and he's spent that 100 stone on a TC. I think he's added another TC or he's sold that stone. I think he might have sold it to keep up crossbowman production. Not quite sure. But no castle coming for Chort, and that's an interesting decision. Trying to keep production going to deal with this, I suppose. Maybe he will get another elephant sometime soon, but for now, Pete Martell is raiding the bejesus out of Chort's eco. Mangonel pops out, gets in a pretty decent shot. Didn't kill a lot of units, but did wound a lot of units. Elephant on the way. This Mango's in trouble, but it may... No, it won't get one more shot. Won't quite get one more shot. Purple player needs a couple of archers along with that elephant. I think he'll be fine. But that elephant is probably going to go down to good micro pretty quickly. Ecos for now, +7 for Pete Martell. Chort is on 2 TCs. He is trying to hold the line with some elephants. Does not want to go back with his army. We've got that castle coming in the middle of Purple's economy. Pete Martell has 2 TCs down as well. Pete's economy is in strong shape, and he's defending with some archers back at home. +2/+1 for Orange, +2/+1 for Purple. I didn't see if Ballistics came in, but we'll see when the next fight comes down if the Orange player got Ballistics. Trade cart is out for Chort, and that is going to immediately get pressed into action. What the hell is Chort doing here? He's going to try to go and trade with his opponent, because why not? I don't even know if there's a market down from Pete, but no, there isn't. But Chort, maybe with a misclick, trade cart already out on the map. Okay, all right, man, he's stealing my ideas with the trade cart rush. Purple player still microing around, putting down some damage. Vietnamese crossbows are going to get cleaned up. They have a hill bonus, but they just don't have enough numbers. Ballistics, I do believe, is still... Ballistics is in, I believe, for Orange. Seems to be hitting his target a lot. Orange player as the melee is going crossbows, and for now, Chort is in some trouble with his military number. Rat and Archer's on the way out. Purple player has that trade card still rolling around. What's going on, man? Chort's got a trade card out. I'm not sure what the plan is, but for now, that's a bit of eco that he could use to keep up the fight. But hey, man, we're here for fun. Why not? Why not build a trade card? Extremely defensive castle on this backwood line. I'd have to agree with you there. Next castle maybe needs to come out to take over this extra gold. But for now, in round one, I'd say Pete Martell continues to land punches. His crossbows are coming forward. He's cleaned up that raiding party. Stables are coming down. And Pete is going to transition into a little cavalry behind this. He's already added in a third TC. His village count is at 66. And this is a tough moment for Chort. Chort here is going to have to go into rat and archer production. He's going to have to spend a lot on that. But of course, those rats, they'll counter this army greatly. So will this mangonel. But those units are going to be pretty exposed if Pete can get a couple knights on the field. Malay player has his second stable coming down, and he will have knight production coming out. I think he's got +1 defense already. And Chort here is going to be one step behind, I think. He's in a rough spot. Trade is up. Hoyer Leaf sees it. You guys can see it too. The first trade cart is out. It is still roaming around. You might as well scout the map with that, I suppose, at this point. Who builds a trade cart? Rat and archers, a great counter to crossbows, but not quite to this many crossbows. Purple player's still trying to get forward and do some raiding, do some get some intel, but those double stable knights are coming from Pete Martell. Pete's in a good spot. I think that Chort needs a defensive castle in this area now. It's just really no other choice. You might have wanted to put it out closer to that extra gold, but he's going to have to mine a bit more stone and hope that he can hold on for dear life with another castle. Very, very tough position for Purple. He is going to do a little raiding here. At least for now, he will alleviate some of the pressure with a defensive mangonel and more rat and archers. But it is really intense knight production for Pete. Pete's got double stables down. His knights are waiting for their moment to shine. They're going to roll forward and help out that economy. And the economy for Pete, or rather help out that raiding, the economy for Pete is going to be left to its own devices for now. So Pete Martell will use the next group to defend with. He's going to use this group to make a push. He kind of smells blood, and I think he's ready to try to, I don't know, enact some revenge on Chort for that game 1 damage. But Chort rolls into the back of this eco. There is a TC guarding a lot of it, but several farms have been abandoned, and the back gold is abandoned. So at least this small army has accomplished something. Still a very tough position for Purple. He's 13 villagers behind, but he's at least going to try to do some raiding. Archers will take down this group eventually. It's not a very big group from Purple. The rats are a nice counter, of course, to the crossbows, but there's really just not enough units there. Reinforcement should be okay. Purple player's next castle will come down to defend this gold and stone on the side. And for now, Pete Martell has an army in the back of Chort's base, but it's a little bit walled out from doing damage. I think he can continue to deny this wood line, but other than that, there's not much here. Purple army gets cleaned up back at home. Pete Martell's still rolling around on the front trying to do damage. It's a 15 villager advantage for orange. Pete's going knights, not Ellie, says Gio. The knights are out on the field, +1 defense is in, and we'll see how this goes for the orange player as he continues to expand out his economy. It's a very nice position if you're orange. He's adding another TC. Looks like he's ready for a castle drop somewhere on the front. For now, it will be an outpost and maybe a castle on top of this hill. We were talking early in the game about how this hill is a bit awkward. If you lose this hill, I don't see any real good way to win. Being at the bottom of that hill is really tough. You might have to try to treb your way out of that position. But that's going to be tough as well because your opponent can go to imp so quickly that, I don't know, not a lot of great options right now for Chort. Chort's in trouble. That castle does look like it will probably come down somewhere near this hill. There it is. Oh, boy. I don't really see a whole lot of good ways out of this. Pushing out with his crossbows is a horrible mistake, methinks, says Nublitz. Hey, man. What's up, dude? You gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them, and right now it is looking really bad for Purple. He's got a good number of rats. He's still roaming around in the back of his base, trying to clean up this aggression. Needs to get a good engagement there, but he can't stop the castle. Castle cannot be stopped, and that's the stone pile that should be Chort's, is now going to be under Pete Martell's castle. Pete's grabbing a couple more villagers down while he can. Just a little covering fire while his castle goes up. Orange player might bring around a mangonel on the side. It's not a great engagement for him, but he did grab at least one mango, and he will continue. Pete will continue to keep Chort busy with a lot of units here. The castle is up, and that's really the main event. Imperial Age on the way for orange. That faster imp is going to be really hard. And if you're Chort, you might have to GG out of this game when your opponent hits imp. Not a lot of good opportunities to come back in this one. I was surprised that Pete Martell went into triple range archers because Chort obviously had the option for rats. Hey, it worked. They overwhelmed the early position of purple. It's been aggression really in every stage of the game for Pete Martell, including an aggressive castle drop on the front. And game number 2 here looks really, really within the grasp of Pete Martell. For now, he has just 6 military. Scale mail armor is coming. His castle drop is down. He's just going to keep beefing up his economy. And it's going to be karambit spam from Orange. Orange is going to have a couple knights and a couple karambits rolling around. Pete Martell will counter with a couple of rats, but he's going to be up against a lot of TCs and a castle in the middle of this economy. Chort's got a lot of problems here to solve, and I don't know if there really is a solution. He's on 74 bills. Pete Martell is on 91. Pete Martell's imp comes in right now, and we'll see if we'll see a GG, and yeah, we will. A very nice game from Pete Martell. He ultimately did damage in the Dark Age with his Drush. He idled his opponent with that Drush and made Chort play defensively by building some defensive militia. He then came forward with 5 skirms, which also annoyed a lot of vills and really roamed in this economy and caused a little bit of confusion and annoyance. And then it was triple range archers into crossbows that really won him the game. The knights behind it were great as well. But this game from Pete was a really nice show of how aggression can get you a little bit ahead in the early game, a little bit ahead in the mid game, a little bit ahead in the late game, and then dropping an offensive castle in it. It's just really over at this point. Very, very good game number 2, and that will even the score. Oh man, I'm pretty excited about that. I think we've had 2 really strong games from these 2 guys. And we'll just take 5 minutes real quick to listen to an interview with our friend Chort. Let's go for Chort's interview. Pete Martell was the winner there, but actually, yeah, let's do Pete's interview. He won. So this is Pete Martell's interview. Remember that Pete is playing for a new microphone. So as you might imagine, the audio is not great. It's a short interview, and I've done a little doctoring to try to make it as good as I can. But we are here recording. It is very much not great. Here we go. Today, Mr. Pete Martell is here. Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Just a reminder to people listening to this. He's playing for a headset today, so we're not going to have the greatest audio connection, but be patient with us. Hey, man, I'm pumped to have you in these show matches.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this, and I really want to know, how did you come up with the name Pete Martell?
Well, it's a character from TV series, Twin Peaks, if you know that. It's an old TV series.
Yeah.
It's a small character, like you don't see too much.
Yeah, that's what I was reading, and that's what made me even more curious. Like, if you named yourself after a main character, I would have thought, okay, this guy, I get it. But it's like a kind of obscure reference.
Well, maybe because I really like the character, and I want to make him famous, let's say that one.
Does he have any punchlines? Does he have anything that he says?
Well, not really. I mean, I don't mind some particular speech from him. But it's quite singular, the way it's talk or he acts. But I liked also the actor from this series. It works a lot with the
It's so cool of a name, because I was always thinking like, oh, this must just be a guy who doesn't have like a name that he made up. That's just his real life name. And then I Googled it. Yeah, man.
Some people call me Pete, so I kind of love her too.
Well, that's really cool. So my next question for you is, you've played a lot of games. I saw your account has a lot of matches. You've obviously, I assume you've played your opponent before. Your opponent today is going to be Maximus, aka Chort. What can you tell me about his playstyle?
To be honest, I played him quite a bit, but mostly in team games, I think, because I don't know. So I don't really know his playstyle. I think it's different from mine because I'm more an aggressive player, and I think he's quite standard player. I would say, like defensive. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. I wonder if we'll see your aggression and him trying to defend in the matches today.
I don't know if I have to do it because maybe I can trick him.
I'm looking forward to you giving that a try. And my final question for you, since this is a short interview, is what are you playing for today? You already said that you want to. You're thinking about getting a headset, right?
Yes, because lately I'm using a lot of TeamSpeak and a lot of people complain about my sound. So I will try to buy a new one.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. Go ahead.
yeah, and I will send you a link maybe once I find out the headsets.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, this is recorded, so I'm sure we'll have a link up on the day of. Uh, yeah, we're looking forward to these matches coming up. Thanks so much for being a participant here, and I hope we can put a new headset on your head so that you can communicate with your teammates better. Thanks so much for your time, man.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
Looking forward. All right, guys. Sorry about the not so great audio there with Pete Martell. Pete is playing for a new headset, so you can kind of understand why he needs that headset after hearing that interview. I think it becomes very obvious. Hello, Isaac. Good to see you, buddy. That is a pre-recorded interview. We'll have a pre-recorded interview with Chort after the next game. I just quickly want to update you guys on what we've seen so far here today. It is 1-1. We've seen some nice matches, in my humble opinion. We've seen the Vietnamese used in game number 2 from Chort, and we've seen the Malay get used from Pete Martell. So we've got Malians, Aztecs, and Burmese left for Pete. And Chort has Slavs, Magyars, and Vikings. And if you remember back to this, Pete Martell loves his Slavs, man. He's played a ton of games of Slavs and Celts, so I think he's going to enjoy those matchups. Pete Martell has a really nice win rate with Burmese, and Chort has a nice win rate or a lot of experience with Celts and Slavs. So we'll see the next game coming up shortly. FFL Web has added $5 to the tally, and I think I added that on already. Currently, our donations have been really generous, and I appreciate that from all of you guys. We've been able to raise a lot of cash here, and I think we're pretty close to where we want to be. So far, this is what we've done, and I do appreciate everybody chipping in when they can. Let's kill the screen capture now, and let's just get ready for game number 3 to come our way. And then after game number 3, we will hear from Maximus or Chort, depending on how you know this guy. We also have a little soundboard action if you want to hear. I guess Pete Martell won the game, so and thank you to who is dropping it? Who is dropping the Pete Martell quotes? Half a loaf. Dude, I was listening for quotes when I was building up the soundboard, and that was one I was thinking about. There, you wouldn't believe it. You guys should stop drinking that coffee. There was a trout in there, but this is the one I grabbed.
There are many cures for a broken heart, but nothing quite like a trout's leap in the moonlight.
I haven't seen Twin Peaks. I just looked for YouTube videos and watched like half an episode and watched some of Pete Martell's quotes. But Pete Martell is a character from Twin Peaks. He's this really quirky guy who loves trout fishing. It's a bit of a weird show, but I can see why Pete Martell, aka Nanny Marin, I believe is his other name, I can see why he likes this character. The guy's got a lot of character. He's got a lot of character. Really cool series by the looks of it. I can't wait to check that out. Buttface is pumped about the soundboard. Yeah, man. We got the soundboard with us. We got everything we need here with the Viper singing as well.
If there's one thing better than mounting, it's mounting quickly.
I always mess up the Viper and Zach's...
It's my love story, baby, just say yes.
I always mix up the Viper and Zach's soundboard. Okay, 1-1 is the score. 1 minute, 30 seconds left on the spec delay. We'll jump into game number 3 right after that. Thank you all for hanging out. It is a nice 1-1 series, and I think we've seen 2 really good competitive games. Pete Martell, in his interview, said he wants to try to shake Chort by being the aggressor. In game number 2 there, he did a very nice job. He was there with the drush. He was there with the skirms. He kept being annoying. Pete really never got to do much raiding, and essentially, Pete ran away with the game. Chort never got to do much raiding there. All right, the next game is on the way. Here we go, guys. Game number 3 of the day between Pete Martell and Chort. Alrighty then, game 3 is upon us. It is Chort grabbing the Magyars. He'll be playing in the purple. Score is 1-1, taking on Pete Martell's Aztecs. So Aztecs v Magyars here in game number 3. Purple player's map has some extra gold way out to the back. Main berries are on the front, I suppose, off to the side, I guess. Main gold is on the front. Secondary gold is also way out on the front, and stone is out on the front. This is a map that you really could do a lot of forwarding and aggressive play with if you're Pete Martell, and that's kind of what we expect from Pete Martell. That's kind of his MO. If that happens, Chort better get back to this gold and hope that he can hold on for dear life. He's also got stone way in the back, but early game scouting could actually come down, could be the difference between surviving the apocalypse and dying in the apocalypse. But we'll see. That's a lot. That's a little while from now. First, we got to see the build-up, and we got to see what choices the players decide to make. Aztecs player is going to be Pete Martell, playing in the orange. He had a very nice win in the last game, and he's going to try to replicate his success here. Backberries, stone up to the north, pretty wallable northern side of his base. This woodline is half decent. Maybe he could wall toward the TC. This woodline, although it's a little awkward, I think it's quite okay, especially with a little bit of walling work, maybe toward the town center and on the backside. I like that map for berries, for stone, and for wood, but for gold, that's a little bit more challenging. Those piles are not in the worst positions, but they're not exactly nestled into the back of his eco. So it's not a 10 out of 10 map for Pete Martell by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll see. We'll see if Pete decides to be aggressive. If he does, finding these resources could really crush his opponent. Orange player is out early with his scout. Excuse me. He's found one boar already. He's found both boars, and he knows where his sheep are, so I think he's in fine shape to keep his economy rolling. I think he's missing 2 sheep, but he is trying to get forward with that eagle and see if he can get an early pick. I'm not sure if he'll find it, but the orange player is going to give it a go. On the other side of the map, Chort is still scouting around. I wanted him to find those back resource piles for the sake of survival, and he's found one of them, but oh god. He's done good scouting, but he has actually... Oh, that's really... I don't know if it's going to matter, but that could be kind of devastating, not knowing about that gold pile. Just in that tiny sliver of the fog of war. We will see if it matters. Chort continuing to roam around. His opponent, Pete Martell, is forward with that eagle. That eagle is getting close to the boar of Chort, but for now, Chort's going to be at least okay. Eagle Warrior's kind of going in the wrong direction. So game number 3 is upon us. We do have a half a villager advantage for Orange. Seems to have had a little bit less idle time, I suppose, on his TC so far, but it might not even be a true half. It's about a 5-second advantage by the looks of it. Purple player Chort is going to find his sheep on the front, and he will not get lamed by Pete totally, but Pete Martell is still roaming around with his eagle, trying to grab sheep. Purple player is trying to do damage control and keep his own sheep at home, but it's tough. He's trying to micro around an eagle. He's trying to stay on the hill before that engagement comes. So a little bit of a rough spot for Chort, who's just trying to keep his sheep. These two guys are dancing around each other, and a little bit of flirtation has ensued. Both guys with 1 sheep at the moment. It's just such a tough position for Chort. He's going to have a really beefy scout in the feudal age. Doesn't want to lose his HP to that eagle. Of course, the eagle on full HP would win the fight. So Chort is just trying to get in to grab that unit. Thanks, Dr. Slow. Can turn the game sound down a bit. Thank you for that, my friend. Let's see how this one continues to shape up. For now, those sheep are in the possession of Pete Martell, so laming so far has been somewhat successful. Purple player can either, well, he wants to stay in front of that group and try to steal those sheep back. He's hoping to grab... Ooh, Chort running right at his opponent's TC. I think he's hoping to stay out in front of those sheep so that he can try to win them back. But now he's almost totally lost his scout. 1 HP left, and it's going to be really difficult for him. Purple here probably can abandon ship and run back home and push a few deer with that scout, because other than that, it's pretty much a useless unit. Loom coming for Pete Martell, and Pete's going to steal those sheep. They are now under his... they're now happily under his TC. So... a very good start for the orange player, and we'll see if he can keep the momentum going. One would assume his 8-minute and 1-second feudal time with 21 vills and a barracks coming down is going to be an aggressive build. 2 vills going over to gold, so we'll maybe see the Aztecs player go into men-at-arms, but maybe just straight into archers, not sure. Pete's got the world by the tail, though. Well, kind of. He's certainly stolen those sheep, and he's got his opponent's scout on very low HP. Chort, interestingly, will add in a drush behind this, which is very unexpected. Maybe his initial scout taking so much damage, it makes him not want to go straight into scouts. But for now, that drush will come forward, and the purple player will try to do a little bit of damage. Chort won game number 1 with a drush, and he's going to try to win game number 3 with a drush. Purple player is grabbing the 10 gold. He's maybe just going to mine long distance for a little while, and has enough to go men-at-arms, I suppose. Probably doesn't have loom yet. That's probably why he has that resource. Yeah, no loom yet, so he's going to need a little bit more gold. But 30 gold in the bank, at least for now, for Chort, as he continues to roll around with that drush. So loom coming for Chort on 25 vils. It looks like he will go up after his drush. I don't think it's a drush FC, but yeah, it's possible. Adding in a mining camp now. Magier's player still has that 1 HP scout roaming around. Pete Martell has a drush of his own, but it's a men-at-arms play, not a real drush. Don't call it a drush. That's not the right word. And he's got the higher HP scouting unit, so it's a really tough thing for Chort to try to deal with this, because it's going to be 4 versus 3, and it's going to be men-at-arms for Pete Martell really early. Chort, for now, seems to be chasing this from behind. He seems to want to stop it with his military. Not sure if that's going to work for him, but he's at least going to have 1 wolf helping him out. We will see if the orange player can get in some damage. Pete Martell, laming a couple of sheep early on, is in a decent spot. The men-at-arms deal with that wolf pretty quickly, losing a little HP, but nothing too major. And for now, Chort is going to have to abandon the deer. The drush did nothing, says Company of Nublets. So far, yeah, definitely. Drush from purple did not work out. I think he wanted to have a drush ready because he was expecting his opponent to tower him, and a little bit of scout blocking here should win a villager, and those villagers should have hands full of food. Oh, one of them's going to get home safely. Yeah, 14 food in the hands of this villager. Nice scout blocking from Pete Martell. He can keep his eagle out in front of that villager, and that villager's pathing is interrupted, and he's just not going to make it home for Christmas. 3 more militia out for the purple player. He's going to have 3 militia already, and it looks like he's going to go for 6 men-at-arms as he hits the feudal age just now. Chort's in a little bit of a weird spot, but his men-at-arms will clean this up. -1 vil, and that 14 food, of course, hurts a little bit. Archery range coming as a follow-up for him. And for now, the orange player is going to have trouble doing too much more damage, but we'll see. We will see. There is a sneaky villager coming across the map to drop a house and probably to drop a tower from Chort. Chort is going to be up against some archers, I would think, from the orange player. A couple of archers already out for orange. His army is still keeping Chort busy, but his follow-up is going to be archers. For now, those archers are going to be unaware, of course, of this sneaky vil. But if they find her, it's going to be bad news bears for the purple player. Not sure if Pete Martell here lamed one of the puny trees or one of the straggler trees, but maybe so. These guys have been a little bit aggressive, doing some laming. Chort really likes to drush to men-at-arms thing, and only seen it in Cabrex before. It's a very it's a common theme in these 3 games. I believe we've seen early militia out from purple in all 3. His men-at-arms are going to take a little bit of a hill bonus, but I think they'll lose that fight. However, getting some damage in on orange. And maybe the next group from purple will head forward. His villager is still way in the back of the map. She did kill a wolf. Magier's villagers kill a wolf in a single strike. So that wolf went down quickly, and that vil is still roaming around looking to lame. And she's going to waltz all the way into the back of this eco. And if you're really wanting to try hard and win this game, you can stonewall this gold and probably really annoy the bejesus out of your opponent. Pete Martell cannot see this villager, so Chort has done a really excellent job, I believe, keeping her out of his vision. I'm not 100% sure that Pete doesn't know, but I would guess he doesn't, because his archers are coming out now, and they're not quite headed in the right direction. So double range archers for orange. His eagle in the back of his opponent's eco is all alone now. Chort did take some damage early from Pete Martell, but his counter tower here could be really, really nice. We'll see. A couple quick gates maybe can block that area in, and it would be quite annoying. I think it will reach just the edge of this gold pile and just the edge of this wood line. Pretty nice move, says Nim. I think so. Pretty sneaky little villager out there. Chort's had a couple idols here for a minute. He chewed through the deer now, and he's going to go back home and get a couple farms down. Blacksmith is out, has a couple of archers maybe on the map, but for the most part, it is the militia that are trying to hold the dead. It's about 4 archers and 4 militia. There's that tower coming down. He's not going to waste his stone on stone walls. He's going to just go ahead and palisade it in. So purple, for now, has gotten that tower up, and Pete Martell, interestingly, abandoning this entire... I don't think he needed to abandon here, but maybe I'm doing the math wrong. I mean, he's the pro, not me. So fletching, though, is coming for purple. So Chort here certainly would continue to harass that woodline. Woodline is annoyed. The gold pile is annoyed. Purple is not on stone, I don't think. I think he's on stone. So it's just going to be 1 tower and done for Chort. Chort at the moment with 500 food is spending his gold on archers and is not going to be clicking up terribly soon. Pete Martell on the other side is just about exactly in the same position with his economy. Has a few more archers than the purple player does. For now, though, it is fletching already for purple and padded archer armor coming. So not a great fight for Pete Martell. He can win this with some micro and kill these men-at-arms, but he's not going to be able to do too much without getting fletching, I would think. But we'll see. We will see. Defensive house. House coming down on the front for the purple player. Where is that sneaky village? Yeah, she's still sneaking around. Has not been found yet. For now, Pete Martell is defending with all he's got, trying to take the hill. Still does not have fletching in. Looks like he's going to wait and try to click up to castle a bit sooner. Nope, there's fletching. There's fletching. He needed a blacksmith, guys. Killer Bee can't do math. You need a blacksmith for fletching. That's important. Orange player going out to stone. He did drop a tower somewhere, yeah, right here on his front gold pile. For now, that 1 tower did take away 2 lumber camps, so it was a pretty great investment, I would say. But it's not game over. Pete Martell's still roaming around with a pretty scary-looking army of 12 units. He does have fletching now on those units, so if he can find the right engagement, especially with padded archer armor, I think he'll be in a decent spot. Chort, on the other side, has a little more resource in the back, so maybe, just maybe, Chort can get himself up to the castle age a bit sooner. Double range archers I would expect from both guys for a bit longer. For now, though, yeah, double ranges from purple are up, and the archers are rolling out. Double ranges from orange are obviously up, and it's mostly archers for him, but a couple skirms mixed in. Another tower, or no, an outpost here on the front for the orange player. He did take a little stone, so Pete Martell could be thinking about more towers if he needs it, or more TCs in the later game. For now, I think it's anybody's game to win. Pete did get in some damage early, or some annoyance early. It's been a weird build-up for Chort, going with the 6 militia, I think it was. The 6 men-at-arms play. But so far, these guys are going back to their own sides of the ring, and they are going to continue to fight this out. Chort never found this extra gold, and that's really super unfortunate. It's such a thin piece of the map, but he does not know about that gold pile, so that could be a little awkward for him, especially if he gets pushed here on the front. It would always be nice to have that gold in your back pocket. He scouted nicely, but just getting a little bit unlucky, I suppose. 4 villagers out on stone for purple as well, so both guys can replenish their stone piles and build defensive towers if they need them. Purple player is going to add in another watchtower, and he is going to harass this gold even further. 2 towers up, and both harassing this area of the map is actually a really, really nice investment, considering only 1 villager needed to go forward to do it. Game sound is a bit loud. Attack horn is blaring. I like your voice better. It's really interesting that it's that loud, but hey, thanks for the tips, guys. Yeah, we got to keep it up. Keep it on to a good level. That alert horn is really rugged. I think there is a mod to make it stop, but the only problem with that is maybe we miss some of the action sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, for now, both guys roaming around with similar types of armies, skirms and archers. Thanks again, guys, for your information about the audio. Skirms and archers on both sides. Chort, as we might have expected, will be up first. He'll try to wall in his eco. He will abandon a wood line for now and try to roll to the back here. Maybe he can crush this army. Nice quick walling toward his TC, making the orange player walk under the town center. Orange is going for it. Pete Martell's going for it. Oh, but that house finishes just in time. That is really annoying. He's going to take several more bursts of arrow fire from the TC than he might have needed to. Didn't kill a lot of units, but that house very quickly comes down. Purple player Chort here is going to peel off just his skirmishers to head back and deal with this. Oh man, Chort probably needs to get these villagers out of range of fire, but I love his decision to just send back the skirms. The archers going out on the front, though, they are going to be countered by more units from Pete Martel. Third archery range is denied from Purple for a moment, and his gold economy is a bit interrupted. So Pete is not getting super great engagements, but he did get a ton of good idle time there, and he has denied the third range. Thanks, guys. Glad it's much better. That is good. Oh, Ivix even got the horn emote. The Horn of Gondor, maybe. Yeah, I think that both players did have some positive things happen in those engagements. Chort killed a few more units for cheaper, I suppose, but Pete grabbed a vill. He walked through this area, he idled some vills, and he didn't lose that much. Castle Age coming for Chort, Castle Age coming for Pete Martel. This, though, is probably the best thing going for Chort. If there's like the brightest spot of this game, it's these triple towers on the front, because Pete Martel can't really take either of his gold piles. He still has not been able to kill this sneaky little vill. And now Orange is basically, well, he's needing an extra gold, and I don't know where he's going to get that from. Don't know where that gold is going to come from. Maybe from the middle of the map, but it's going to be really tricky because, of course, how do you afford archer production? Well, I don't think you do. Seems like it's skirmishers still coming from Pete Martel. Chort is going elite skirm. He's trying to roll around near this wood line and harass, and I think he has gotten in some harassment there. Orange player has taken a lot of stone, and maybe Pete Martel is thinking, I'll drop a castle here, and I'll kill all three of these towers with it. Not quite sure, but that seems like a possibility. We shall see. Chort will roll in. He will continue to harass villagers. He'll grab a couple of vills down. Bodkin Arrow and Crossbowmen coming for the orange player. His army is hanging in defense, and it's a lot of skirms here. It's a lot of skirmishers. A couple archers to give that army some teeth, but it is mostly a skirm army for Pete Martel. Pete is going to spend some stone on a TC on the front stone pile. For now, he is just happy to take stone and no gold. No gold economy that I can see for Pete Martel. For now, it is 6 stone miners, soon to be about 12 stone miners, and that is it. So skirmisher production continues for Pete Martel, and he is going elite skirm. Thought he might prioritize elite skirm there, but he'll get it. Chort maybe forgot Bodkin Arrow for a moment, but he is now able to afford it, and we'll see if Purple can go back and group up and build another army. Ballistics coming from Chort as we speak, and the Cav Archers are starting to come out for the Purple player as well. +1/+1 is in. He will have Bodkin soon and Ballistics. And the Magyar's Cav Archer play has begun. That initial group did some damage, did some annoyance, but a really nice pincer move from Pete Martel to get on both sides of that army. Pete is on both sides of that army with a hill bonus, with elite skirm. He's going to get some really nice damage in there. Front TC for the orange player seems quite nice, but here come those Cav Archers to try to equalize the score. Why go for CA when the enemy is teched into skirms? Better to go for knights, says John T. Maybe so. Maybe it is better in this situation. No bloodlines on the Cav Archers, and they're going to go down really quickly. Orange player for now is without gold, so he really is only able to produce more elite skirms, I would guess. Pete Martel with 4 gold in the bank and probably still does not have any gold economy, so 15 stone miners. He's going to drop a castle soon. I still expect it to come up around here, but we'll see. Chort for now is back at home on 2 TCs. Purple player is going to be quite okay with trying to boom up there, but his opponent's on 2 TCs as well. Interesting early game. University coming down for the Aztecs player. And where did Pete Martel's stone go? Did he sell it? I think Pete Martel just selling some stone to keep his gold economy going, and I think he's eyeing ballistics next. So no castle drop to clear this up. I guess I'm wrong about all of that. It will be ballistics and a TC on the front gold pile for orange. Orange player has a big, nasty army of skirms. 31 total military. Mangonel in defense for purple can help him a bit here, but he needs a lot more. He needs a couple of great mango shots, but he probably needs a lot more. Chort is patrolling near this group, and he will get a glancing blow at first. Needs to keep this Mangonel alive with a villager, I think. But at least for now, it looks like Pete Martel will go back. Chort's got a 4th tower down now on this area. I think he's done a nice job to take that away. That villager is probably not in need of dropping more towers, but we'll see what he decides to do. Pete Martell is going scale mail armor. Interesting. Scale mail armor on the way for Pete, and more barracks coming for Pete. Pete has now established himself a gold eco, and he's going to keep pumping skirms, I suppose, with a couple of eagles behind it. Sorry about the no option there. Unfortunately, I was reading about the downscaling resolution thing. They were saying that Twitch partners get it every stream, and if there's extra, I don't know what you call it. I don't think it's bandwidth, but if there's extra slots for it, then affiliates like myself get it based on viewership. So we may not be quite big enough and strong enough to get that option in every stream. Sorry about that, guys. We don't always have that option, unfortunately, but maybe if I keep building this thing up, I can get there. Defensive tower from Pete Martell seems to be perfectly timed to deal with these Cav archers. They might run in though and hang out under that TC. A couple villagers will go down for sure. And the purple player is still rolling without bloodlines. Leather archer armor coming. Pete Martell did seem to be transitioning into some eagles. Those eagles are starting to come out of 2 barracks, but they are still eagle scouts. So, both guys are transitioning armies. One guy is going for some Cav archers. The other guy is transitioning into eagles. Pete Martell able to establish this front gold pile, which is totally essential for his chances to win. But in the meantime, Chort has got a decent raiding party that he's trying to build up and see if he can get some damage in. More outposts coming. Orange player still roaming around with a huge group of elite skirms. It's going to be really hard. Second SplitB matches today. Yes, indeed. This is week number 2 of SplitB Tuesdays. We've got, obviously, Pete Martell and Chort. Week 1 was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that between Project Belgium and Daniel. Those guys put on a great show, and this so far has been a couple of really close and interesting matches. Pete Martell, though, right now is getting some wonderful engagements. He's basically corralling those Cav archers into corners, and it's a really tough spot for Chort. Chort has added in more elite skirms, and he's added in a mangonel, but he's going to be caught flat-footed if those eagles pour out, and there's about 15 eagles here, maybe a little less, ready to run in and probably take down this mangonel and group of elite skirms for really cheap. Eagle Warrior upgrade is coming. Orange player is actually going to send that first group forward. He'll deal with the rest later. His rams are rolling in, and the towers are starting to get knocked down quickly. Unfortunately, Chort does not have his villager close enough by to stop this, and his couple of Cav archers can't really help either. This game is going really poorly for Chort all of a sudden. He's going to drop a defensive castle and try to hold the line. Those Eagle Warriors are rolling in, but they're not going to be here in time to deny this. Castle's on 90%. And this could be actually kind of bad for Pete. Pete's going to take some damage as he retreats away from this. Castle will take out a couple of eagles. Pete Martell will lose 3, 4, 5, 6 eagles maybe in the process, but he will get out of dodge here eventually. He's going to try to roll around to the other side of the eco, but there's 2 mangonels kind of creeping around, and it's a tough position to micro against. Chort is maybe okay. He's maybe in a lot of trouble, but he's maybe okay. Purple player coming for a little counter raiding. He's doing a little damage on his opponent's main gold pile. Couple Magyar Hussar out. Maybe they will deal okay with the eagles, but we'll see. I was happy to be here, but now I'm just living in fear due to Nimino being a mod. Oh, Nim is a great mod. He's a great moderator. So we continue to roll through this one. Both guys delivering a little damage to the other's eco. Both guys on 70-ish, 75-ish villager count. We do see ballistics, I believe, from the purple player already, but we see a transition into a couple Magyar Hussar to go along with the Cav archers. Does still have that group of elite skirms out. I can't believe they're still alive, but they're going to get chased around by some eagles here very shortly. Purple player still building a couple of cheeky towers, just trying to be as annoying as possible, but you know what? Pete Martell is going to squash this. Pete is here to squash this beef with a couple of elite skirms. Eagles are out. They should deal with this group fine, but one of them is already dead, surprisingly. Immediately going to target down the crossbow. And I don't know if this group can kill another eagle or not, but it's not going to be a hugely exciting fight on that side, at least not in my opinion. The Hussar coming in on the front with a couple of mangonels behind him is quite interesting. And this game is starting to look like it's going to transition into an Imperial Age match soon. Both guys, of course, are still pumping out army, but I don't see either of them winning this game just yet. I thought the orange player here, Pete Martell, had a good chance to push in and do damage, but at least for now, the Magyar Hussar and the Cav Archers have done a pretty good job. Still no bloodlines in. Purple player is still rolling forward and trying to put down some damage. Company of Nooblips is pumped. Oh, who just got horse collar at minute 40? Oh boy. I heard it come in. I saw you say that there, Nim, but I didn't see it. Not sure which player missed the boat, but that's unfortunate. Mango shots were great for Pete Martell in game number 1. Even though he lost game number 1, Pete really did out-micro Chort with his mangonel play. So let's see if he can do it again. Pete Martell rolling forward with the Eagles. Those Eagles are nicely upgraded for arrow fire, but unfortunately not as good against Magyar Hussar. Let's see how this fight goes. Mango War was kind of won by Chort, who won the Mango side of it. And ooh, that's a pretty good glancing blow onto that group. Second Mangonel is still alive for purple, and this army for Pete Martell is going back. Bloodlines coming in for Chort. Microing away from this is Pete Martell. He's got to avoid the big shot. And Theo, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Twitch account is completely independent from Amazon account. I believe so. I think that's true. I know you can use Amazon Prime to sub, but I don't think you would log in with the same passwords. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. I'm just a guy who likes to stream. I don't really know anything. Purple's tower is denied. TC is up on the back area for Pete Martell. About 90 villagers for each guy. Both guys still posturing around. Both guys still spending a lot of resource trying to stop their opponent from expanding out. But this game looks like it's going to continue to go into the Imperial Age. For now, the Cav Archers are going back, but the purple player can hang out under his castle and probably feel pretty safe. Probably Pete Martell and Chort both feel pretty decent about this game. I think it's anybody's match to win. Pete has a little bit, well, quite a bit higher of a score. And Pete has a little bit more, you know what? The resources are pretty darn close. Chort will probably drop another castle soon in defense. So Magyar Hussar have come out in decent numbers. The Cav Archers are still beefing up. Ooh, Chort's wheelbarrow at 45 minutes. Oh, sweet Jesus. Are Magyar Hussar good versus Eagles? Yeah, man, totally. I think so. I mean, I think that in the Castle Age, Eagles are not really what they're going to be in the Imperial Age. Obviously, you want a melee unit to deal with them. Cav Archers are taking down this army. Magyar Hussar out there as a little meat shield. Purple player getting in some good damage. Military counts are now equal. These couple skirms are dying on the edge, and the purple towers are all down for the most part. For now, it is Pete expanding out to his extra golds and just fleshing out his economy. Both guys control a good piece of the map. Neither guy has done too much to stop their opponent's eco, but man, story of the game, well, one story that is important for this game is that still, unfortunately, purple has not found that extra gold. Man, oh man. Let's see. Okay. So you do have to log in. Now that makes sense, because how would Twitch know that you actually had an Amazon Prime if you weren't logged in? For now, Pete Martell is going foraging. He's got the Eagles out on the field. He's got a 12 military advantage. His opponent seems to be going really deep into Cav Archers, and another castle drop is coming for the purple player Chort. Chort will take over really an important area of the map if that castle goes down. This TC is going to be really in hot water. Granted, the gold pile is gone there, but it will be a bit annoying. The Eagles are rolling around for Pete Martell, and this could be the moment of the match, because Pete's coming around for some raiding. He wants to damage this economy now. He's going to be imp soon. Chort is interested more in bludgeoning his opponent down. So those Eagles, well, those Eagles may be able to get a really nice bit of damage in for Pete Martell. At least for now, Chort is on the run. He's on 108 villagers, but that number is going to drop a little bit as the Eagles roll in. Purple player's castle comes down. Magyar Hussar is still coming out. And for now, the Eagles have shut this economy down a bit, but, you know, Cav Archer number here is plenty to deal with a half dozen Eagles, and I don't know if Pete really got any bang for his buck at all there. Chort's going to deal with these eagles in the castle age, which is actually exactly when you want to deal with them. Let's see how this works out. Purple player has one relic. He's grabbing another. We've got a little bit of a raiding party still alive for Pete Martell in the back of his opponent's eco. And he could earn himself a couple of dead villagers. But Chort here is looking like he's ready to switch into Imperial mode. He's still got more Hussar coming. His second castle seems to be in a nice position. Both guys are fighting over the middle of the map for wood. I think wood is a little bit limiting on this map. But let's see how this one goes down. For now, purple player in a good spot. That raiding party is still waiting in the wings. They did grab a couple villagers on the back. Pete Martell is going pikeman. He's on the way to Imperial Age and still trying to raid and annoy. Purple is now up to Imp, and let's see what those castles are up to for Chort. Chort's castles, well, he can't afford any trebs, so for now I guess they'll keep pumping out some Magyar Hussar. He's still fleshing out that economy. 103 villagers for Chort, but he is spending it as fast as he can get it. Orange player is in and raiding. His Imp is not yet in. His eagle number is kind of shrinking because his economy is being stepped on by a big group of Cav archers. The orange player is adding in barracks and pikemen like they're going out of style. Plate mail armor coming for Pete Martell. He's going to try to push this back with trash. His raiding with eagles has done some damage, but probably not enough to warrant the investment that he made. Chort is just happy to stand in the middle of this eco, even though the towers are dwindling him down. I think he's happy for the moment to idle about 20 farms from the orange player. Going to be hard for Pete Martell to get food. He's got 0 food in the bank right now. He's going Elite Eagle Warrior. He just spent it all, and he's going to try to pump out eagles and pikes, but of course needs to win back his food economy. Orange player has another TC in the north, has a couple of several farms here that will be idle for a moment as purple roams in, but at least for now, those TCs are firing away, and the Cav archers, well, they're not going to last forever. Just +2 defense for now. Can't really just run under TCs yet. Need a few more upgrades, I think, for those Cav archers to really be scary. They will absorb some TC arrow fire, but ultimately it's not the greatest engagement for Chort. Chort's in a great spot, though. 1,000 points behind on score. His opponent is going Elite Eagles, but at least I think Chort's in a good spot because the eagle number isn't too high yet. Pete Martell needs to get that eagle production rolling ASAP, and he will have to do so with what? Well, his 2 initial gold piles still being mined away happily. So eagle production is on the way. A castle drop is trying to come down for purple. Tower will come down for Pete to try to counter this. Pikemen are rolling in. Eagles are rolling in. And we've got an interesting engagement on our hands. I don't think orange can stop this completely, but we'll see. For now, Chort is about halfway, maybe 60% on his castle. Tower is going to be up, of course, first. Orange player seems all in to try to deny this. He's got a huge bit of army here. But Chort's castle ultimately goes up. Chort needs to make sure not to kill all of his Cav archers with a mango shot, but I think he's quite fine. These eagle numbers are not quite high enough yet from orange to scare him. Another castle down for purple. He's got 1 relic in the bank. I thought he had a second one on the way, but I guess I was wrong. I think that monk did not make it all the way back. And this game is still anybody's game to grab. Pete needs more production, of course, but he's having a lot of trouble affording more production right now. The Eagles will do great against the Cav archers, in theory, but more Magyar Hussar coming out. Cav archers are in a pretty decent number, and of course they're hanging out under castles, which is not really the greatest engagement, even with Eagles. Purple is headed out with a massive amount of villagers to grab gold, and maybe Pete will find that and do some raiding. Ballsy castle indeed. It's all calculated, I suppose. Chort looking to win game number 3 here and put himself up 2 games to 1. We will see, though, because Pete Martell is still in this with 103 villagers, 36 military. He's got less idols than Purple does for now. Purple player is expanding out to grab this gold, but a couple eagles could really decimate this whole area. It seems like Chort has wanted to bludgeon down through the center of the map, and he's sort of isolating these 2 TCs in the north from the rest of the orange economy in the south. He's kind of driving a stake in the middle, in between these 2 bits of eco, and if he could get another castle down somewhere in the middle here, it would be really difficult to see Pete coming back. But Pete is getting up a big number of elite eagles. He's getting capped ram. Chort will go scale barding. He's going to continue to build Magyar Hussar for now. And he's going to need more of these units if he's going to stop the eagles. For now, Purple's clandestine mining camp is still alive, and Chort, aka Maximus, is continuing to try to build out this game and bludgeon down Pete Martell. Pete's got a 2K score lead, but by my approximation, I think it's a much closer game than that. I don't think there's 2K difference, but I could be wrong. So many idle farms for Pete. Pete at the moment with 11 idols. Is he, oh yeah, you mean because of all the castle dropping, of course, sure. Rams coming in high number, and Pete Martell is ready to make his push. He's got too many eagles here, really, for Chort to deal with, I think, and I think the Rams will get this castle, but let's see. Chemistry on the way for Chort, and Chort is going to give the GG here. Okay, castle's going down. Can't find a way to counter the eagles. The score looks like he's down by a lot. I don't think he's in as bad of shape as I thought, but once I saw those Rams, I mean, what do you really do to counter this? Trying to run in with the Magyar Hussar, just not quite in enough number. I think Purple could have held for a bit longer. Chemistry, though, is coming, and I guess the GG is in. GG, Chort will give the good game here, and Pete Martell will grab the game, and I'm a little surprised. The eagle number was, what is the eagle number here? It's about 18, it's about 23 eagles hanging out in the middle. Of course, lots of capped rams. Very interesting, very interesting. I didn't feel like it was over, but hey, man, Chort is ready to throw in the towel, and Pete Martell will win game number 3. A very nice third match. We've had 3 really good, nearly hour-long games all the way around, which has been a lot of fun. And I'll play a quick interview for us. So we've done the interview with Pete Martell. Pete?
There are many cures for a broken heart.
Pete reminding us that there are many cures for a broken heart.
Nothing quite like a trout sleep in the moonlight.
Very strange character. But now we have the interview with Chort. Let me just quickly say hello to everybody. The transition, says Reaper, indeed. I thought it was a bit early, Blue Strawberry, but I don't know how I would have dealt with those capped rams coming in en masse like that. So maybe it's quite justified, I suppose. That will give Pete Martell, player number 1, a second point. So let's not forget that. And let's go ahead and play an interview with Chort. This is another short interview. We did an interview earlier with Pete Martell. I will show you guys this, and then we'll go back into the update screen to show you where we're at for donations. I just want to thank everybody for that. But let's hear from Chort for a moment here. Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. This is a pre-recorded interview. I am here with Mr. Chort. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Hello to everyone who's watching stream. I hope you will enjoy the game.
Hey, man. Thanks so much for coming on for an interview. It's really cool to get to know the players before we start these matches. I wanted to start off by asking you, about yourself. Where do you live? What do you do? What are you all about?
Sure. Well, my real name is Misha. You can pronounce it. I live in a small village in eastern Slovakia. I basically celebrated my 27th birthday this December. And last few years, I spent studying history on local university nearby town of Prešov. So I don't have any serious jobs besides some part-time stuff. I will finish my studies in less than a month, so somewhere in the middle of May, unless I fail, which I hope I not.
I think you'll do fine, man. Thanks for that introduction. That's really cool. So my next question for you is, and this is kind of a leading question that you might have anticipated. Are there 2 particular civs that you might draft today that you think you're particularly strong with?
Well, there are actually 3, but whoever knows me a little will know that civilizations I'm going to pick will be Celt and Slav. I mean, Celt was one of my favorites back then when I started playing Age of Empires, and I still enjoy them playing now. I also think they are my strongest civilization, so that's definitely pick number 1. And second pick will be Slav, because I like them and it was my idea to incorporate them in Forgotten Empires back then, when there was topic about it on AOC Zone.net. Third pick will probably be Magyars or Franks or something like that. I don't like mainstream civilizations and despise most of the OP ones like Burmese or Spanish or so.
That's a really interesting answer. I noticed on your profile a lot of Celts and Slavs games, and it's really cool to hear that you push for Slavs to be in the game, and now you're going to represent them, hopefully today, as long as your opponent doesn't draft them first. I hope you get the Slavs so we get to see that. Yeah, man. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
I hope you enjoy them and will win the game.
Well, good luck. The next question I wanted to give you was, so you had an interesting answer to how you wanted to spend any prize money you get today. Do you want to explain what you were going to use the money on?
Well, there was initial idea was buying a book. It's basically meditations from Marcus Aurelius. It's great book. I recommend it to anyone who looks for practical philosophy, not speculating about theoretical stuff and such. It's really interesting book. Also, there is one interesting fact about it. First chapter was written on the banks of river of Hron, which is actually a river in central Slovakia. Then there was another idea a few days later, which I got, and that is sending money to guy on the AOCZone.net with the nickname Scripter or something like that.
Sorry about the audio here, guys.
The background of Age of Empires, because he made this game much better performance than it was back then. You know, much less lag, basically much better performance, which is the best way you can contribute to the game.
Oh man, what a great answer! I feel like a lot of people out there will feel you on that. Not only that you are gonna spend the money on a book that matters to you, but also that you have somebody else out there in the community you're gonna support. It feels really cool to me to see that money potentially go into multiple people who are doing great stuff for the community. Let's just end with any thoughts that you have on today's match. Do you want to say anything to your opponent or to the people watching? And then we'll wrap this up and we'll go into the next game.
Well, I don't know Pete much. You know, to be honest, we did not play together much games. I mean, we did play like half a year ago, but there were like 4 games and we were much less skilled, if I can say so. We both were something around 90 plus. We occasionally play team games, but I cannot judge his skill from that. Although someone told me that he likes to trash and forward, which is bad news for me because I hate trash and I hate forwards, and I can't really play well against them. So I hope he won't do that. Other than that, I think it will be alright. Also, thanks for the opportunity to play it.
All right, a really great interview there from Chort. Chort's name is also Maximus. Maximus needs a little bit of momentum on his side. Mr. Chort has had a little bit of a tough go of it. He's down 2 games to 1. We'll add that $5 from Half a Loaf. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for putting on these series. You're very welcome. I'm very lucky to be able to do so. If you want to see the current update, yeah, we've raised a bunch of money for the winner and the loser. Of course, winner's going to get 60% of the player fund. Loser's going to get 40%. And we've put some money toward our May event. And oh, snappity snap snap. We got another 11 from Micro. Thanks, man. Well, let's just add that to the tally and look at it. Watch it go in. Thanks very much for that. We are building it up, guys. The May event is going to be a pro event. But before that, we will have one more week of SplitB Tuesdays next week. And that will be VNS Yellow, say my name, taking on Sobek. So that one will be a really fun set of matches. But we have a few more matches on the docket for today. We've got Burmese and Malians left for Pete, and we've got Slavs and Vikings left for Chort. Chort loves those Slavs, so I do expect him to pick those in the next game. We will see if Chort and Pete Martell will even up the series at 2-2 here in game number 4. My apologies for typing into the microphone. It's not ideal, but hey, man, sorry about that. Got to do what you got to do sometimes. So let's see if we can get the audio right here for the next game. Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Go, 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 Chort, says Blue Strawberry. Yeah, indeed. Thanks very much for all the follows today. Big thanks for all the donations. This is a ridiculous amount of PayPal donations that have come in. Very much appreciated, guys. This has been a series that I've been thinking about putting on for a while. We are guaranteeing a minimum of $100 for the 2 players. So if we don't quite meet our goal of raising that money through the channel, don't you worry. We have other donors who have been nice in the past. And frankly, this is my only real hobby. I don't really watch TV. I don't ride expensive bicycles or motorcycles or anything. So I can peel a couple of 20s off if we're not there. It's really not an issue. You guys have been incredibly generous already. Please don't worry about donating to the channel any longer. If you're ready for game number 4, then you will be surprised and happy to know that it will be here in 1 minute. We do have, for the 2 players, just quickly tell you, Burmese and Malians left for Pete Martell, 2 of the very best civs in the game. Slavs and Vikings for Chort, very strong Arabia civs as well. You could argue that Slavs have had a little bit of a renaissance now that the farming bug is fixed. And if that is the civ that Chort is most comfortable with after Celts, then maybe we expect him to pick Slavs here in game number 4. Obviously, both players want to be the winner because the winner gets 60% of the player fund. But both guys are going to leave with a nice little king's ransom. Here we go into game number 4. Let's rock and roll right now. Reaper is loving the transitions, and I'm loving them too, man. Very nice work done by Baron UKF. The current is...
No.
So we'll turn the chat off. We'll update everybody who's watching. It is 2-1 for Pete Martell. Chort here wants to win, and he's going to change his color. He's going to give it a shot here with the teal. Teal player will be Chort, playing as the Slavs, maybe as we expected. And let's just see. Oh, that's his private message. I'm in the middle of something here, friend. Anyway, let's rock and roll. We've got Slavs versus Burmese. And it should be a good matchup. Pete Martell has been the aggressor in many of these games. He's been interested in doing some early game annoyance, and maybe we'll see him go with some men-at-arms and towers in this match. But we will see. Chort playing as the Slavs, I would expect kind of quick scouts from him, but I'm not quite sure if he's going to do that. Both boars on the front for Pete. He has not, or rather for Chort, he has not lost any boars yet in this series. Teal player roaming around, scouting. We'll find a front wood line, a front stone, 2 front gold piles, some awkward hills, back berries. Not a great map. Not a great map in my opinion. I don't like this hill, and I don't like this hill either. Nonetheless, Chort's going to have to deal with it because there's no Rees in this series. Purple player will be Pete Martell, playing as the Burmese, sending a couple vills out to wood. He's got a kind of nestled gold pile here. You could envision him defending that pretty nicely by walling on this part of the map. We'll also have a back wood line. Berries are on the front. But all in all, this is a half-decent map for Pete Martell. Burmese player might want to think about stone, and if he is thinking about that, well, his stones aren't exactly the greatest. This one is probably the best option for the early game, but it's not the greatest option. The other stone is actually on the other side of the wood line. So if he was planning to go for towers and Arambai or something like that, he's going to have to be a little creative to try to get that stone safe. Going to be a little hard to keep that stone safe. We shall see. 3 vills on wood early for the Burmese player. He is out to grab his boars. Scouting around is Pete Martell in the purple trunks this game. Chort will be playing in the teal, and Chort will be forward very, very early, and he actually could have stolen some sheep if he was a little bit further up to the north. Chort here might just get lucky and find those sheep. He's like 1 panel away. Oh, baby. That's going to be very nice. If there is a forward preference for Pete, this is it with that hill and all that gold for Chort. Yes, indeed. Pete here is going to be working with 2 less sheep than he wants. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have those stolen by his opponent. Purple player is just building up. 3 villagers still on wood, so it probably won't be men-at-arms and towers, but I don't know. You never know, I guess. Going to be tough to afford that with the wood economy he has. Teal player is going to truly steal those sheep. Those seem to be walking back toward his town center. And unfortunately, Pete is looking on the other side of the map to still find those sheep. I don't think Pete even knows that Chort is here yet, but maybe he does because he palisaded in that side. All of his stuff is basically under his TC. Purple player has a nicely defended map, but he will be -2 sheep. The teal player for now is happy to have the back berries, I suppose. Slav's player should be able to boom up and go scouts if he wants. Not boom up, but click up and go scouts. Not sure if that's the plan, but 3 vills on wood so far. It seems like the right option to me. Slav's player roaming around in the back of his opponent's eco, and Pete Martel is going to be relegated to pushing a couple of deer. Pete would be really wise to push some deer here, of course. His sheep, he hasn't found them. He sees his opponent's scout. I think you can kind of surmise that they're probably stolen sheep. And if he surmises that, his instinct is right here. He's pushing in a deer now, and he can push in 2 more very easily. It's a very short deer push. It's a very nice map for Pete Martel, and maybe Chort stealing those sheep kind of evens things up. Chort with a couple extra sheep under his TC. He's already got a farm down. It looks like 20 pop scouts, maybe 20 villager scouts, maybe to me. No? Okay, it is going to be 20. Thought he might go 21 because he had another villager queued, but it will be 20 vills for Chort, and then he will click up to go for some scouts by the looks of it. Purple player on the other side, Pete Martel, still pushing in those deer, still trying to round out his eco. Pete's going to be happy to take 3 deer in the place of those sheep. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Loom coming for Pete Martel. And it looks like he will go 21 villagers and up. He'll drop down a barracks and he'll try to defend the front of his base from what he probably assumes will be an onslaught of scouts coming very shortly. Would not surprise me at all to see scouts very shortly, but at least for now, Chort is adding in the second lumber camp, still needs to start building his barracks, needs a little bit more time, of course, to get up to the feudal age. We'll see. Little idle time on the TC for Pete Martel. That's not helping him too much. Maybe those lost sheep threw him a little off his game. 4 villagers going out to the gold pile. Purple player is queuing militia, and once again, we will see a bit of early militia play from Pete Martel. I wonder if these 4 villagers on gold are going to drop a mining camp or if they're just going to walk home and drop off their gold at the TC. Looks like for now they are doing that. It's not a far walk, so why not? Why waste all that wood? Could be a cheap and quick men-at-arms play for Purple as he garrisons a couple of those vills. We'll keep an eye on Pete Martel's economy, but he will have 4 militia, at least for now, coming out. On the other side, the teal player is starting to wall off a bit. He will add in a stable maybe also on top of this hill. Both wood lines on the front. And as Gio said early, it is really a map that you could imagine towers just eviscerating. So we'll see. Interestingly, Chort does have something inside of that barracks. It's 2 militia coming out. These guys love to play with militia. A couple militia on the front and maybe a 3rd coming. Yes, a 3rd militia coming as well for Chort. His stable for now is denied. He needs to use his militia to get that stable up because the clock is ticking. Here come a bunch of villagers, and here come a bunch of militia. This could be really bad for Chort. He has to finish the stable. Oh, it's an archery range. Oh my god, it's an archery range. Okay. I'm glad I clicked on it. I just assumed it would be a stable. Oh boy, Pete here is coming forward, and I don't really know if you're Chort what you can do. He's going to try to defend with some men-at-arms. That range is still denied. Teal player is moving villagers out to gold, and he is maybe still pumping out... No, he's not pumping out any more militia. What is the plan? Chort here is in some trouble, man. He's going to get that range completed maybe... But maybe is a key word. It's on 50%, and here come the men-at-arms from Purple, and here come the towers from Purple. Oh boy, Chort is seeing his chances of being able to win this series really dwindle. He'll get some arrow fire in on those men-at-arms, but they are really rolling around. Still denying the archery range, and now 4 or 5 villagers from Pete Martel are coming forward, and they are going to drop a tower, and oh boy, Chort is in some serious trouble. Chort is in some really bad trouble. Pete Martel is here, and he is doing damage. Thanks very much to Million4 for the donation. That will go straight into the fund tier for the SplitB series. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for that. Sorry about the sound, guys. I know I know they're quite loud, but I'm working on it here. It's a little bit complicated, unfortunately, on that side of things. First tower from Chort. The only tower maybe from Chort is coming up. Chort is still not transitioning over to his stone. His economy is in some trouble, but he's only lost one Vil so far that I've seen. The teal player has gone men-at-arms. He's gotten his archery range, well, deleted. He's given up on it. Chort's got the wood to do something, and what he's going to do is a market. Looks like he might want to buy a tower to try to defend himself, but for now, the gold pile on the front is in a lot of trouble, and Chort here, Chort's in serious, serious trouble. He's got a couple of men-at-arms. Purple player here is trying to take this fight. Chort's trying to take it as well. Chort killing a lot of units here, and actually, surprisingly, Pete Martell is going to be the one who has to go back. Very interesting engagement. I thought that Purple had it hands down, but I was totally wrong. That watchtower is now under pressure. Teal player bringing in some freshies, a couple fresh villagers to try to push this all back. And at least for the moment, Purple's tower is denied. Purple player coming back to fight with hand-to-hand combat, but that tower is not going up. Chort's got a market. We'll see if he buys a little bit of stone to build a tower up on this hill, but for now, Teal has avoided the death blow. He's avoided the death blow, dropping an outpost on top of his hill. The next tower from Pete Martell looks like it's going to be up on that hill. Pete back at home is still just on stone. He does not have anything other than a couple militia and, or rather, a bunch of villagers on the front and a bunch of stone economy. Tower coming for Purple now is going to be a really tough one for Chort to deal with. That tower will be on top of a hill. Burmese player is going to finish his tower, I think, first. And it's going to be tough sledding because both of these lumber camps are now going to be annoyed by arrow fire. Purple's last man-at-arms is still here. Pete Martell is going to lose that unit, but he is going to get his tower up first. Teal is going to get his tower up as well. Will he lose a villager? Chort will not lose a villager, interestingly, but he will lose both of his lumber camps, at least for the moment. So, out of the frying pan into the fire for Chort. He establishes a gold economy and a stone economy, and then he loses his wood lines, which is really uncomfortable. He's moving out to the far wood line now, and Chort is still alive. He's a couple villagers behind Pete Martell. Pete's aggression is still... it's still quite annoying, I would say, but this game is not quite over yet. Town Watch coming for the Purple player, adding in watchtowers back at home. Still does not have any military buildings there. Pete Martell floating a lot of wood and a lot of food. I wonder if he's going to add in something soon for a military building. Not sure. For now, both guys are just trying to keep their towers afloat and try to stay as annoying as they can. Chort's eco is not quite as nice as his opponent, but he does have there's the blacksmith. He does have a market down to try to keep his eco balanced. Has a lot of gold to work with, can buy a little wood if he needs it to keep things going, but is transitioning over to a new wood line. Pete so far has done a really nice job to keep his tower alive and keep his villagers alive. These Vils, well, one of them going down just now. Those Vils are going to have some trouble, of course, because Teal can reinforce villagers pretty easily if he needs to. Chort's going wheelbarrow, and this game is starting to maybe stabilize a little bit. Maybe it will stabilize a bit. Still no fletching for either side. Both guys still going in it. Titanic, Chort couldn't get 4+ Vils to build the tower. Yeah, Chort is he's got his hands very full. But for now, wheelbarrow is in for Teal. Wheelbarrow coming for the Purple player as well. More walls coming from Pete Martell at home. Pete is still floating a good amount of wood. He has dropped down a blacksmith, and he's gotten fletching, I think. No, I don't think he has it yet, actually. Can afford fletching now, but he is still just building up and maybe thinking about clicking up to the castle age. Purple player has 4 villagers on stone, so you could envision if his tower rush fizzles out, he could build a castle. However, for now, Pete Martell is still investing in more towers. Chort has abandoned that front wood line. I guess he did not want to fight the hill bonus forever. He's got 8, 9, 10 villagers out on gold. He does have a market down, and he is trying to keep his economy afloat with that market. Teal player does have a couple villagers on stone, is grabbing Town Watch to keep an eye on his opponent. And for now, it is a slow roll around the map for Pete Martell, who's dropping a couple of outposts and just keeping an eye on what his opponent is up to. So, early towers from purple have done damage. They've taken away wood lines, but somehow, some way, Chort's gold is still alive. Both guys will click up to castle at the same moment, and Pete Martell will have a 1 villager advantage for all of this hard work. Still think it's a good position for purple, but his horse collar just coming in. Oh, man. Feels bad, man. It's not that bad of a time. But anyway, a little bit of a lot of work for Pete Martell and a little bit of an advantage for him. He's certainly going to be able to drop a castle if he wants to in the next age, and why not just keep pushing on some of these hills? Like, imagine a castle here. Oh my god, that would just be crushing. We'll see. Chort for now has 0 military. Pete has 0 military. Chort is going fletching, and he's adding in double ranges. The Slavs player wanted to go ranges early, but got denied, and now he's going to try again. On the other side of the map, the Burmese player is not going for anything. It looks like he is going to wait for the stone for a castle, so maybe that castle comes up at home. I mean, if it's going to be your only unit production building, I feel like you got to put it on top of this hill or something, right? Like, but who knows? Pete Martell playing with a 2-1 lead might try to go all in here with a castle drop. Oh, no, he's bringing his villagers home already. Pro move, force the tower on the second wood, and now Chort has not enough stone to tower the gold. Yep, that's a good point, John T. Thanks for hanging out, man. Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a really interesting game for these two guys. It's still a great position for Pete Martell, but Chort will have some military production going, and Pete is going to have to wait a little bit longer to get his castle down. Archers slowly but surely building up for Teal. Both guys hit the castle age, and we will see that purple castle right on top of this hill. I was thinking this hill, but that would be not nearly as good as the one here. This castle basically protects 2 different gold piles and a relic, so not bad at all for purple. And it's kind of halfway forward, which is kind of nice. You can keep the pressure on with a little quicker reinforcement time. Chort's got this, says Lou. Hey, Lou. Hey, buddy. How you doing, man? Crossbowman on the way. Bodkinaro on the way for Chort. He's backed into a bit of a corner here, but he will get another TC down. The Teal player is still taking his own gold. I think he would love a castle on top of this hill. I mean, that's what I'd be thinking. This, both of these gold piles just so open and annoyed. But for now, the Teal player will have an army rolling forward. Those crossbowmen are going to work the long way around the map. Can Pete Martell see this? Yeah, you better believe he can. Those couple of outposts paying off a lot. He can see the double ranges and the crossbows coming, so he knows exactly what the plan is. While those crossbows roam around the left side, I wonder if the first 3 or 4 Arambai will roam around the right side, especially trying to hit this gold pile. That would have to be the first thing on your mind if you're Pete Martell, but we'll see. For now, the Teal player is trying to do a little bit of attacking, pushing out across the map. There's 3 wolves waiting for him, which will slow him down just a tiny bit. Purple is pretty much walled in and is pretty much towered in. He's actually double palisading a lot of this area. So it's going to be hard to pressure that. You can't really camp under this tower with too many crossbows. And of course, what do you do if you're camping under that tower? First couple Arambai rolling out for purple are headed straight toward that gold pile. So it is going to be a really tough time. It's going to be a really tough time for Chort. He's trying to get a monastery up, but he's a day late and maybe a buck short. Villagers having to run out of here as those first 3 Arambai take his gold. Take his gold pile by the balls, by the cojones. Arambai and Mangonel play from the Burmese player is pretty darn OP, and denying that monastery will help him a lot. Chort wants to get out in the counterattack, but he will need a little time to bust through the double palisade walls. Pete Martell, for now, is walled out of raiding most of this economy. A couple of crossbows on the way over, and a defensive siege workshop for Teal. Teal player needs to win back his hill. Chort does have a market. He does probably have enough stones soon for a castle. A castle may be something he can get down here, depending on how many more Arambai show up before the time is right. For now, the Mangonel roaming around, the villagers coming out. Villagers will maybe try to blitz down this Mangonel, push this army away. Nice split there from Chort. Eventually a castle is maybe in the wings, but we'll see. Teal player's having a lot of trouble dealing with this Mangonel. He brought some villagers in. I thought he was going to rush at it, but at least for now, he's going back to his TC to build up a bit more. This is a really bad spot for Chort. I mean, his gold economy is just absolutely squeezed. I don't really know the best situation for him. Arambai with 5 range, TC with 6, so it's a really tough spot. I mean, you could try to drop a castle like here, but your TC won't really protect your crossbows too much. There you go. Chort does get down the mangonel, and he does come out for his castle. Arambai got in some good raiding, but they are ultimately going home to group up again. Okay, so we were watching engagements, and we weren't watching TCs. It's two TCs for teal, and it's 2 TCs for purple, both guys on similar-sized economies. The purple player, Pete Martell, seems to be happy defending his base against a couple of crossbows, and Chort probably seems to be a little happy to finally stabilize his gold income. This hiccup in Chort's gold economy is probably going to be something that he feels for the rest of the game, but he's at least got a chance now that that castle's alive. Mango and Arambai on top of that hill is just as good as a castle. Yeah, I mean, absolutely harassing this gold eco, idling all these vills were probably doing something, but stopping them from mining any gold. Teal player has no other gold eco for so long is just so damaging. Target fire from purple is unnecessary because I think that Chort has given up on this group of crossbows. Arambai number is starting to get really big and scary for Pete Martell. Chort's going for the cheaper unit. He's mostly going for the crossbows, and he is really outnumbered if you think about Arambai and how nasty they are at raiding. Those Arambai are starting to look pretty scary. Just +1 defense in for them, but they will have a mangonel or 2 behind them. Bloodline's coming for Pete Martell as well. Economies are similar, military numbers are similar, but Pete is probably ahead in this one by a good bit. Chort is going to have a stable gold economy for now. He's going to get gold mining. He's going to try to dig his way out of the trenches here. But Arambai should be rolling his direction soon, and it's going to be really, really hard to stop this. Barring a couple blunders from purple, I think he's going to have Chort in a bad spot. Chort's TC will help him out a bit here. He does have a couple of outposts, so he sees this coming. Does have a couple of towers as well, but, I mean, it's just so difficult to deal with Arambai with towers and archers. For now, the teal player is going to lose a couple vills. Those Arambai are rolling in the back of his economy. They could stop and kill this tower if they want. We'll keep an eye on that. Teal's army was forward, and now it's coming all the way back to try to stop this. 61 vills for each guy. Chort with a couple of idols, and Chort's going to have quite a few more idols very shortly. Gonna lose that whole back wood line to this. Looks like Chort is too far in to turn around, really, so he's trying to keep pressure on reinforcements. Got to be really careful, though, because, oh, here comes purple. Pete Martell with a good target fire, grabbing 1 mangonel. The second mangonel is maybe in some hot water. Oh, man, Chort's in really bad shape here. His economy back at home is getting raided relentlessly. Mangonel coming in for purple as well. It's not going a whole lot better on the front for teal, as his mangonels do get double-legged, and it's 6 military left. It's 6 military left for Chort. I'm cheering for him because I'm hoping for this series not to be decided yet. I'm hoping for it to go 2-2, but man, is it looking dark. That possibility is really getting far away, and Chort will give the GG. Pete Martell will win game number 4 here, and he will go up 3-1, an insurmountable lead. If these guys have time, we will likely play a 5th game here. I'm not sure if they do, but we'll jump out and we'll at least thank you guys and double check all the things, but I'll ask them in just a moment. Kind of a rail-to-rail win from Pete Martell. Unfortunately, the archery range denied from Chort really put him in a bad spot, and then Chort just never really was able to take his own goal. It's a quite bad map for him with the forward woodlines and forward golds. The Burmese player, Pete, we knew Pete was going to be aggressive in a lot of these games, and his towers really screwed up this eco. So a good win from Pete Martell. He will win the series, but I do think we will play the 5th game. We'll see if the players are ready. Pete Martell has 3 wins, and we'll see if these guys want to play. Pete says he's okay if Chort is, but hey man, it's getting late, so if Chort decides that he doesn't want to keep going, that's fine. Oh, looks like he does. Okay, great. We will see a 5th game after all, even though this series is decided. These guys are having a good time. I hope they're having fun out there. I mean, granted, both dudes are going to take home a nice little prize purse, so, you know, ultimately you want the bigger prize pool, or the winner's prize pool, but hey, I mean, it's fun. It's for a good cause. And, of course, these guys want to put on a show since the spotlight is on them. They're going to launch into a 5th game, and I will quickly just jump over here. I will just quickly jump over here, and let's see how the spreadsheet looks. We'll add $10 to the total. Thank you very much to Million4 for that donation. That's really cool of you. I think Micro's donation is already in here, so I'm pretty sure that this is accurate and up to date. But hey, I'm just one guy. I could have missed something here so far, but here's what it looks like. Pete Martell playing for some new headphones, and he's going to get the winner's share of the prize pool. So at the moment, that would be $40. And granted, I'm going to raise that up to 60. So he's going to be really close to the set of headphones that he wanted. So that's going to be really great. I think we're going to put a new headset on Pete's ears and a new microphone, more importantly, in front of his mouth. I think his teammates have been hating how bad his mic is. Kamigawa. Pete Martell is strong and aggressive indeed. We're going to see a 5th game here in just a moment, guys. Chort is looking to grab this book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's only about $15, and the rest of his prize pool is going to go to Scripter 64. That's what he wants to do anyway. And we're going to take home some money for our May event. If you guys subscribe to the channel today, it all goes to the players. If you donate, it goes 50% to the next event and 50% to this event. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The 5th game is now about to launch. These guys are chatting away a little bit about what happened in the previous matches. And they can launch whenever they want. What we'll do here is just X out the Burmese, and we will X out the Slavs, and we will wait for a 5th game where it's going to be Vikings versus Malians on Arabia. Chort is going to get the smaller prize pool here, but this is a guy who loves the game, and obviously he's in it to win it, or he's in it to show what he's capable of. Both of these guys are around 2,100 at present. I think the high water mark for the two of them has been 2,200. 2203 for Chort and 2177, but current rankings just around 2100. So these guys know the game incredibly well. And I think Chort here probably wants to show that I can deal with this aggression. You know, the aggression from Pete has been overwhelming. It's won Pete the series, but maybe Chort can strike back and win another match here. Let's turn the screen capture off and let's prepare ourselves for the next game. It looks like guys are chatting a little bit about the matches. We will just hang out and chat for a moment. Man, guys, thanks so much for all the donations. It's been ridiculous how many donations have come in today. When I made up this event, I was thinking, like, I want to guarantee $100 because these players are taking time out of their weekend to, like, give an interview, and they're taking some time out to coordinate this thing. This is my first, like, real event. It's a small event, but it's my first one. So, of course, it's been bumpy, and I've been miscommunicating. Actually, Maximus here, Chort, he was waiting for me on Saturday when I was trying to meet with him on Sunday for the interview. I wasted half an hour of his time. So these guys have been really patient, and I wanted to make sure that we could give $100 to each player, or to each set of players. But the donations have been ridiculous. Next week will be VNS Yellow, and it will be Yellow versus Sobek. Those two guys are probably two of the most known players. For instance, Yellow's been around forever. I mean, I don't even know how many years that guy's been playing the game, and so is Sobek. Pete Martell has won Series 3-2 at worst for him, and it could be 4-1. Players are launching into the 5th game now. And let's play around with the soundboard.
There are many cures for a broken heart.
Daniel couldn't watch because he was in class. Hey, man, it's good to be in...
Nothing quite like a trout's leap in the moonlight.
Couple of quotes from Pete Martell from the movies, and we also have a little Maximus here. Avion, Chort is from Slovakia, I do believe. That was what I was asking him. I hope I didn't put the wrong flag up. That would be something that I could certainly screw up, but I think he is a Slovakian. I think his clan is from Romania, but I'm not sure. And maybe even his account says Romania, but I was asking him, where are you from? And I'm pretty sure he said Slovakia. It will be Malians and Vikings here in the 5th game. We won't see any rematches, and we'll see Chort try to win one for the Gipper. Pete Martell will get the bigger piece of the prize pool here no matter what, but it's been a good set of games. Especially the first 2 games were really back and forth. It was hard to tell who was winning. The 3rd game as well. The 4th game there for Pete was a really nice kind of rail-to-rail win, and we'll see if Chort can grab a match for old time's sake. Game number 5 is upon us, so let's get ready. Isn't that the Russian flag? Game number 5 is on us, guys. You can see that the score is now 3-1 for Pete Martell. Pete has been able to win the winner's prize pool for this series with a lot of aggression in the first 4 games. But Chort and Pete want to play out the 5th game, and I appreciate them doing that. Should be very nice and entertaining for us. Both players can play kind of fast and loose if they want to, because they don't have to worry so much about the money. Both guys will get a nice little prize pool anyway. Chort is going to be playing in the red, switching up colors again, trying to find a lucky one. He will have a back berry patch, a back gold pile, an extra gold in the back, and a stone pile to the side. It's not a super easy map to wall on the front. The front looks very open, but a lot of his resources are behind his TC, and, you know, that could be a whole lot worse. It is Arabia after all. The biggest weakness here, I suppose, is the wood lines. I mean, the nearest wood line for Chort is here. That's a pretty long ways away, and it's not exactly a nice wood line either. It's pretty thin and wispy, and I don't like it at all. His other nearest wood line is pretty far up to the north. So Chort's map is decent for the berries and gold, but I don't love the wood lines. On the other side of the map, we'll see the purple player Pete Martell. He is playing as the Malians. So it'll be Malians and Vikings here. Malian's player has a back wood line, so that's better than any of Pete's wood lines, in my opinion. Front berries, front stone, gold is off to the side. Pretty late game, this is a pretty wallable left flank of the map, and it's a pretty wallable front flank of the map. It's a rather defensible map in the mid to late game, but in the early game, I think he'll be somewhat open. 3 villagers on the wood line for purple. Pete Martell has pushed in an early deer. Little extra gold pile way in the back. And we will get a sub in from Half a Loaf. Thanks, man. Very much appreciated. All subs today go straight to the players, so that's going to be great. And we'll get a host from Ornlu. Thanks, dude. Good to see Half a Loaf with a sub. Good to see Ornlu with a host. Man, life is good over here. Purple player building up with 3 vills on wood. We will see eventually a wood line established for Chort. 4 villagers over on the wood line for the Vikings player. There's Ornlu's host alert coming in. Thanks, buddy. We'll see this one build up. Those of you guys coming over from Ornlu's channel who have joined late, we've seen a bunch of really great competitive matches here. Pete Martell has ultimately won this series, but these guys are playing the 5th game for shits and giggles, for pride and glory. We got to cheer a little bit here for Chort, who is also known as Maximus because he's trying to win one for the Gipper. It's going to be Malians versus Vikings. It's an interesting matchup. Malians, of course. Ooh, red player is just in time to steal some sheep for the 2nd game in a row. Chort is going to be able to, well, grab some sheep for the moment. Purple player scout is coming back. Both of these civs with a good eco bonus. We should see a nice spirited match. We'll see what the long-term plan is, but it is 3 vills on wood for purple, and it's 4 vills on wood for red. Red player did establish his lumber camp late, so he might just be going 4 vills on wood into archers. Doesn't mean that he's going with the barracks. At least in my opinion, if my lumber camp comes up late, I often put a 4th vill on it. But we'll see. This villager does have a mallet in his hand, and he might be going out to drop down a barracks soon. For now, red player has stolen those couple of sheep from his opponent, Pete Martell, and he's going to steal a couple more. Oh, no, that's Pete's scout. Pete's ready to grab his own sheep. Let's see. Is your name because of Naruto? It actually isn't. It actually isn't. I chose this name when I was like 14. It's a long time ago. So a fan of Wu-Tang at the time. Barracks is coming down for Chort, so he is going to go potentially with some men-at-arms. Not sure yet. We have seen militia early in these games, like true drushes in almost every match. So would it really surprise you to see it again? Of course not. Purple player with still just those 3 vills on wood. One of them actually kind of bumping around with the others, so she's not getting much done. And the purple player, Pete Martell, will finally find his last 2 sheep, and he'll find them just in time because Chort is right nearby to try to steal those sheep as well. So Chort with a few extra sheep, he is going to, for now, spend his food on militia. So it is a true drush once again from Chort. Can't even afford loom just yet, so he is going for the 3 militia play, but his gold is now in for loom. It will be 21, 22, 23 at least before loom gets clicked for Chort by the looks of it on the villager side. On the other side of the map, the purple player has clicked up. 8:01 feudal time, very nice, quick, efficient, early TC, 21 villagers plus loom. Seems good to me for Pete Martell. Malian's player is going to use a little palisading to push toward his town center. His berries on the front are a bit exposed to the pressure that's coming his way, but other than that, his economy is somewhat safe. You could even wall a little bit here, right? And you could have a really nice safe pocket from that drush. Drush from Chort is coming forward. Vikings player is walling in behind that drush, and I think that we've got a game that is still equal in my opinion early on here. I like this tournament series idea. Thanks, Ornlu. Thanks again for the host, buddy. This has been a really fun little tournament here. Today has been a really great series. The last series I enjoyed a lot too. Project Belgium and Daniel last week put on a show for us. Pete Martell and Chort have had some games, even though it's 3-1 here, they've had some games that could have gone either way. I mean, these games, barring that 4th game, every game has kind of come down to some key decisions. It's been anybody's game to win until the very last couple of minutes. So it's been a great series. I've been enjoying it, and I do appreciate you and your viewers coming over to hang out. Glad you guys are with us. Feudal Age is in now for Pete Martell. Pete is going to drop down a stable on his side of the map, and he did wall toward his TC on the right side, and he could on the left, but he doesn't even, or on the north, but he doesn't even need to. Walls kind of all around for the red player. He's got 25 villagers at the moment, and he's sending more vills over to do something. Not sure exactly what. Okay, they're going to chop wood. They had the shepherd pole in hand, so I was a bit confused. Pete will go horse collar, double bit axe. He will eventually pump out a couple of scouts here and go forward to see if he can hit red. The red player is pretty nicely walled in at home, but he is a little exposed on the left side, and we will get a very nice donation from the Lockster. Thanks, buddy. Thanks so much for that. That's really cool of you. Slowly, slowly, we are powering our way toward a really high amount of money for these 2 players. The whole point of SplitB Tuesdays is to split any donations with the players. So these guys will be getting ever closer to buying some cool stuff. Anyway, purple player is going to come forward. Pete Martell is really, really close to Chort's base, and Chort can actually see those villagers. If he's paying attention, that villager is visible in the fog of war for quite a while. Red player Chort is going to deal with this wolf and try to stop that scout from laming any of his vills. It's going to be hard for the towers to get all the way around the horn, but this first tower from purple could be really, really damaging. The red player's militia are still idle, so Chort is a little bit off guard at the moment. Chort will be fully walled in, but he will lose potentially both of these wood lines to this first tower. Oh boy. Pete Martell has once again come forward with some aggression early, and I think once again he will get some damage in. Interesting to go towers and scouts, so maybe Chort's not quite ready for this. That first tower is going to come up, and I think he's going to be kind of unhappy about it. Chort trying to win the 5th game, although he will not get the bigger of the prize pool. He's still rolling through this one. Chort is saying, go back. Thanks for the opportunity to play. I think he's ready to call it because GG is in from Chort. It's an early GG, but he's losing both of his wood lines. And at this point in the match, he's decided to call it. Double ranges are down for the Vikings player, but he's not ready to dig himself out of another hole. Chort probably feels ready to call it a day, and I can't blame him. It's been a long one. These guys have fought some really long, drawn-out battles in the first 3 games. And here in the 5th game, we'll get an early GG from Chort. He will call it. His wood line is doubled up on, and it was a very fun one. It was a very nice event. Thanks. Congratulations to Pete Martell. He will grab the win here in game number 5. He'll grab the series. He will get the 4 games to 1 score. Very nice, spirited matches. At the end of it, it will be 4 games to 1 for Pete Martell. Chort given quite a show for us. I enjoyed those games a lot. It was Pete Martell's aggression that eventually was able to win him the game. Pete and Chort, just saying thanks to everybody in the channel for being here, donating, and having fun, and giving them an audience. That's really cool of all of you guys. At the end of it, it's going to be Pete Martell.
There are many cures for a broken heart, but nothing quite like a trout's leap in the moonlight.
Nothing quite like a trout's beak in the moonlight. We'll add $5 to the total donations, and thanks again very much to the Lockster and Million4. Those were the last couple donations. Half a Loaf subbed as well. Oh, I got to add that. So let's add that sub money. We will have 3 subscribers and $120 in donations. This is what it looks like after all is said and done on this set of games. It will be Pete Martell pulling home the winner's pool. We raised about $50 here. Well, I'm going to add 10 to that because we're guaranteeing $60 to the winner. The loser's pool is about 30, and we'll add 10 to that as well. So we'll have 60 for the winner, Pete Martell. We'll have $40 for Chort. Pete will be able to almost afford his whole headset with that amount of money, which will help a lot. Those of you guys who are here for the interview, you heard that his mic is not great. So this guy is going to have he's going to have a new headset on his head, I hope very soon. Maybe we'll do a follow-up interview in a couple of weeks when his headset comes in the mail. That would be really cool. Very fun set of games. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Also, notably, Pete Martell, or rather Chort, is going to have a good chunk of change to buy this book that he wants from Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, and he'll be able to try to send some money to Scripter. Thanks again for everyone who donated. As you saw here, week number 2 has come to a close, and we have to see what the time is and what's going on here in the world. There may be a few more games here in our future.